Hello, and welcome to Who's on Next, the podcast that just hit its 50th episode today. And as of right now, I've been going for a little less than 6 years, and I'm hoping to keep going with this as long as I can. But for the special occasion, he is the voice of Jax in Digital Circus. He was Angel Dust in the Has-Been pilot. He has been in Lackadaisy. He was in Murder Drones. He is back for his third consecutive time. It's Michael Kovach.
Wow, when am I going to stop showing up to these things? Hello, Michael, who has the same name as I.
Hello.
How are you, buddy?
Hello, Michael, who also has the same name as I. I'm good.
Good. You have anyone ever tell you your last name is like a first name?
What do you... Oh, wait, like,
Edward? That's a first name, dude.
Oh,
I have
well,
two first
people...
names.
Well, people call me Edward if they don't know my first name. They assume that my name, because if you go off my username MEdwardsVA, there have been people who just think my name is Edward, and then I have to tell them like, no, it's Michael.
Yeah,
because I just did
life's a lie.
I just did an interview with Fairbanks, and they said they call me Edward, and I didn't tell them until like after the interview. I was like no, my name is Michael.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, if you don't use it in your username, people are gonna just be like, "Oh, Edward."
I've always liked the MEdwardsVA, but everyone says Medwards because Medwards. Everyone says MedwardsVA. Like, no, it's M.
It's a very weird name, Medwards.
It's supposed to be pronounced M. Edwards, but like,
yeah,
I don't want to put
I
don't want to put a period in it because I just think that would look weird if I put like a period.
As of right now, my Twitch username is KovachVG because I couldn't get the name Kovach because someone in Russia has it, I think. And they still are using it. And so because it's an active account that just follows people and watches streams, I can't claim it.
Hello,
so
hello, I am Kovach. I am Angel Dust in Hotel Has-Been.
I've tried to get it, but Twitch support is like, no, that is an active account. We cannot like give it to you. And I'm like, really? You can't like get these? No, we can't unless it's an inactive account.
Oh well, when I was talking to Fairbanks, they had mentioned that like they changed their username because they were tired of their old username, and they found out like they couldn't change their username back for like 6 months. And I thought that was insane that Twitch just basically holds your username for half a year. Like you can't.
Hold on, not even that. I changed my username from something else to KovachVG, and I cannot claim my old username back. It has never opened back up.
God,
it's not taken by anyone. It's been like 3 years.
What was it like? Was it like Kovach Gaming, or was it like?
No, it was like M Kovach or something.
Oh my God! You stole my bit. You stole my Edwards bit.
That's my Instagram name because Kovach on Instagram. Believe it or not, I have the @Kovach handle on Instagram, but I forgot the password and the email I used, and I can't get into it, and so I have to use a different one. I've tried, and I can't get it.
So you don't have like a backup email to retrieve it or anything? Like there wasn't.
No, I don't know what email it would have been. I just can't access it, and so it's lost to the ether. I can't access @Kovach on Instagram. It is what it is, though. The only sites I haven't been able to get my username on are Twitch and Instagram. Otherwise, I've got it everywhere else.
Hello, I am Kovach. We play on Twitch Gaming. I am from the Has-Been. I am from the Has-Been Hotel.
But where I was going with that, Medwards.
Yes.
With KovachVG, if I enter someone's stream, they're like, "Oh, thanks, Kovo." Kovo XVG. So everyone thinks I'm Kovo XVG or something. And I'm like, well, XVG sounds kind of cool, but what does it mean?
Wait, is there like a space between the Kovo?
No.
Okay.
It's all one. It's all like KovachVG, like one name. There's no like capitalization.
Oh, so they think like XVG stands for something. They think like
like Kovo is the name, and then XVG is something else.
Okay, I was about.
What could XVG mean? That's what I'm wondering.
I like X video gamer. Like you don't play video games anymore. You're an X gamer.
I used to. I ain't got the time no more.
I'm an X.
Depression be hitting. I can't even play video games.
I'm the X video gamer.
The ex-video gamer. It used to be my life, and now it's my downfall. I hate them.
Well, I guess it's funny because I've said, like, you are now tied. I guess on this podcast, you are the person who's been on it the most, but you are now tied because the only other person I've interviewed more like 3 times was Matt Hill, who played Ed on Ed, Ed and Eddie, because I fucking love.
I got to meet the Eds. I got to meet the Eds at a con recently. They're so cool.
I love Matt. He's like one of my favorite people. He has been
Matt's
for like
really chill.
He has been for like 10 years. I love talking to him like every time I speak to him. He is so nice.
He's really sweet. Yeah.
I don't have Tony Sampson. I have almost all the Eds. I just haven't interviewed Eddie. I have
Tony is an elusive person. I know that they weren't doing cons until like last year. They just started going public again.
Yeah, because he retired from VA work in like the late 2000s.
Went into like the oil business or something, right?
Yeah, in like the oil fields in Canada, and he's made a shit ton of money off that from what I know. But
I mean, that's a big lucrative business. Yeah.
I thought he just retired. I think like a few years ago, he talked like 2 or 3 years ago, he talked about it. I think it was at a con. Or it was an interview. It was one of the two. He said like, "Oh, I got threatened by being blacklisted from the voiceover industry because I asked for better pay."
Yeah.
And they like threatened to some agency like threatened to blacklist him or something like that because he tried to negotiate for better pay for voiceover work, and so he just retired because he didn't want to be involved in it anymore after that.
Yeah, that makes complete sense because it's like it is true. Voiceover work really doesn't pay the bills, especially I don't know what it's like up in Canada or what it was like even back then. I know that right now with like SAG productions in good old Los Angeles, California, you make a bit more money. But the thing is, if it's like this widespread global brand or something like Ed, Ed and Eddie, I don't think that's like global brand. It's not like Mickey Mouse. It's not like SpongeBob. But it was still on TV. It was still doing well, getting good numbers. I'm certain they weren't getting paid, what they were worth given the popularity of the cartoon.
Well, it's like when Futurama came back and there was that whole big debacle on if John DiMaggio was going to come back or not as Bender, and the reason he didn't want to come back was he thought him and his fellow VAs weren't being paid fairly for the amount of work they'd been doing on that show. And he threatened to be like, well, no, I'm not going to come back as Bender if I'm not going to be paid fairly, where like I'm not going to get paid the money that I feel like I should be paid for this character that I've been doing for 25 years. Like,
yeah.
And they finally negotiated a contract to actually get him better pay. But I know there was a period for a bit where they were trying to recast Bender because he didn't want to come back.
They had a guy too. They had a guy in the sessions, I believe. That was doing it.
I am curious who that guy was. Because I know it was a big controversy, too. Because I remember there were tons of voice actors on, like, Twitter who were like, don't audition for this. Like, you're like, do not audition for this. Like, after everything John's gone through, like, you're going to look like a really shitty person if you audition for Bender.
And I mean, also, like, the thing with John also is, I believe he does work on other projects for scale, which is like $1,200. He's not like a stickler for being paid the big bucks. I think he just wanted to do it for Futurama because, again,
25 years,
such a long running show. It's like when you're on a show for that long, it's like, okay, this is a huge popular show that obviously you're putting big money into bringing it back. You can afford to give us some of that.
I remember, I think Harry Shearer on The Simpsons, I think like 10 years ago, he like threatened to walk because I forget if it was either he was just tired of playing the characters or he didn't feel like he was being paid fairly compared to like the other Simpsons actors. It was like one of the two. It was something like that.
Well, I mean, I know the main Simpsons actors had their strike back in, like, what was it, the early 2000s or late 90s?
Oh, yeah. Well, same with, I think Family Guy, they did that, too, in, like, the early 2000s, or late 2000s. I think there was, like, some voice actor thing with that, too.
Yeah. And they're benefiting greatly from it.
Well, most of the Simpsons actors have, like, retired from voiceover work, basically. That's, like, the only thing they do now.
I would, too. I would, too. Listen, I'm gonna be so real with you. I love voice acting. I do it for fun. I actually still have fun doing it. If you're making enough money off of voice acting to be able to like live, retire, and have money for like your great great grandchildren set
Oh,
aside, it's like
it's the Seinfeld argument. Like from what I know, all the main guys from Seinfeld have made so much money off residuals they could have retired like 20 years ago. Like with the money
yeah.
they made from that show.
Yeah, if I was making that kind of money, like I'd probably be working less. I don't think I'd stop working because I like to work. I like to do what I do. But I would definitely be working less.
It's like I think the one loss to me is Dan Castellaneta because I think he had a fucking fantastic voice range, and I just find it really sad. He basically has retired from voiceover outside of The Simpsons.
Yeah, I feel like doing the thing that I think about also is just I love all the characters in The Simpsons. Like they're really fun, wacky, different, variations of a character. And obviously Dan voices a bunch of them. So I would hope it doesn't get too stale doing that repeatedly. But I can imagine it probably does when you've been doing it for as long as he has. And to a degree, the idea of retiring every other form of voice acting work and only doing Simpsons and only doing those characters, I feel like I wouldn't be satisfied doing just that.
Well, I was kind of surprised when they did the Hey Arnold Jungle movie a few years ago, and he actually came back for Grandpa. I was kind of surprised he did that, because that was like his first like Matt Groening character since like I think 2009, something like that.
It's one of those cases also where maybe to some degree they are tired of doing the same thing over and over, but they just don't really try to branch out because, again, they're in a comfortable spot.
Well, yeah, Julie Kavner, who plays Marge, has like basically retired from acting altogether.
I mean,
I know
her voice is disintegrated at this point.
It's funny because she was actually in a movie last year, like as like the narrator, which I thought was kind of interesting. It's some like romantic comedy, and I think it was like her first on-screen appearance in like 15 years, something like that. Like she hadn't done TV or film or anything outside of The Simpsons.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done enough research to know what Julie Kavner sounds like right now, but I've certainly heard her in The Simpsons, and it's like listening to a chalkboard, like nails on a chalkboard. I can't believe she's still doing it.
Oh, well, I'm wondering because Harry Shearer, who plays Ned and Mr. Burns, he's like in his 80s now. And I'm just kind of wondering, because he plays a shit ton of side characters too. And that's like, if he dies, that's kind of one of the ones I'm thinking of. Like, that's going to be so many characters to replace. That's going to be like 30 characters, I think, almost.
From what I remember, when they were doing the walkout back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I remember Fox was going to replace them. But like,
that's
the whole
I can't even imagine how many people you would have to get.
That was the problem. That was why they ultimately didn't, is because they realized, oh, if we replace everyone in the main cast, that means we have to get people that can either do all of these voices or get a lot of people to voice specific characters, because not one person can do all of them.
Well, it's
like the original could.
It's the Mel Blanc situation, because when Mel Blanc died, they had to get like 8 different people to play all of his characters because not one person could do like every character perfectly back then.
Yeah, I mean, now we got Eric Bauza.
Well, I even argue, I think Joe Alasky was like near perfect, because he did.
Joe Alasky was amazing.
I think Joe Alasky was damn near perfect with a lot of his Mel Blanc impressions. I honestly like his Daffy as much as Mel's. I love his Daffy. Like,
it's great, yeah.
It's like, what I was trying to think, because I think there was a period where I think Joe was doing like every Looney Tune character, or at least close to all of them. Something like that. Because I think Taz was like, that was Jim Cummings. That was strictly Jim Cummings' character for a long time.
Yep.
As I'm trying to see it. See, Joe was Marvin, Sylvester, Tweety, Wiley, Daffy, Bugs.
Oh, God, I don't even remember who all voiced who, because it's like, I didn't follow Looney Tunes as extensively when I was a kid. I obviously watched it, but surprisingly, that wasn't one of the ones where I was like, oh, I got to know who voiced which characters.
Well, that was like, well, I think I learned Mel Blanc as a kid because like we've talked about this before. Tom Kenny was like the first voice actor I like learned the name. Like,
oh yeah,
Mel Blanc was the one that you just learned because your parents were like, oh, that's Mel Blanc. Like when you were watching Looney Tunes or something like that, because everybody knew who Mel Blanc was.
I can't remember who the first one I knew the name of was, but I know that it was definitely someone from a cartoon, like a Tom Kenny or a Rob Paulson. Or something,
Tom Kenny, a Gray Delisle, a Billy West, like that kind of person.
Billy West for sure. Because back when I was a kid, I remember I would try to do like a Billy West impression all the time.
What was your Billy West impression? Like, was it like a Ren and Stimpy impression?
I mean,
like,
it was just me trying to do Fry, like, hey, Leela, just. Like,
I mean, your voice could fall pretty close to Fry.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, I say.
Yeah.
See, it's funny because, like, I remember I can do a fair amount of the Futurama characters, but Fry's like the one I can't do because that's just Billy.
Like, it's just Billy West.
It's
trying
just
to sound like
Billy.
His younger self.
Billy and Fry and Bender were always like the two characters I could like never do. Cause
Bender's a tough one. Like my Bender sounds like crap. It's like, hey, it's me, Bender.
Well, that's like that. That's it. Everyone who does Bender does like first season Bender when he's like, bite my shiny metal ass. Like that's
bite
like
my shiny metal ass.
Where he had a lot more. Yeah. It was a bit of the Marvin the Martian-iness in the voice a little bit.
A bit more of that, and also like that rugged, like, oh, I smoke 10 packs of cigarettes a day kind of sound.
Yeah, no, because it's funny. You mentioned we talk about Dan Castellaneta. It's like one of my favorite impressions is the Robot Devil, because I think that was like one of the ones I could do the best on Futurama.
Robot Devil is incredible.
That is my favorite. That is my favorite. That's my favorite Futurama character.
Dan Castellaneta character. Yeah.
That's my favorite Dan character. That's my favorite Futurama character. I was shocked to learn he's not in that many episodes. I thought he was in more. I think the Robot Devil's only in like 6 episodes. That's
a shame because the Robot Devil is amazing. Well, I mean, it also kind of bears the question. Not bears the question. It also, brings into light less is more, because the fact that there is so little of Robot Devil also means that when he does show up, it's more impactful. It's like, oh, there's the Robot Devil. I love that character.
Oh,
versus if you see them all the time, then it becomes stale.
I think it's like my favorite line of his will always be in the movie. I think it's Bender's Big Score. In the movie,
I think it was,
where it's like, your firstborn son, and he finds his son and he just drops into a pit of acid and just explodes. He's like, wow, that was pretty evil even by my standards. That's like probably my favorite line of his in the whole show. Oh, that, and also in the one where he like switches hands with Fry.
Yeah, I mean, that's the series finale, the original series finale.
Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. I just love the line.
I still really love that series finale and think it's perfect. I did like the series that followed it. I did like it a lot.
I like the episodes that came after that. Like I know some people really don't like the Comedy Central era. I like it for the most part.
I think some of them are pretty good. I do think it has issues. It doesn't hold up as well as the original, but it still has good moments. The new revival, I don't care for.
I thought it was okay from what I saw. I watched, I think, like a handful of them. And
I'm going to be so honest. Like, a lot of what I saw, like, I only saw like 4 or 5 episodes of it, and it felt like, again, a lot of commentary on social things happening right now, which is good. That's normal. That's pretty common. But I didn't think they were approaching it in a way that had that much tact.
I think for me it was more so I just didn't think they were super funny. That was just kind of my issue with the recent episodes.
Another thing is like, Billy's getting older, man.
Oh, I don't want to sound ageist, but like there are some people that I like listen to when they like play their character they've been doing for like 30 years, and I'm just like, ooh, really can't do it.
It was the same watching Animaniacs. Jess Harnell sounds perfect. Yakko from Rob Paulson, you can really hear it.
I think Rob sounds fine for the most part in the 2020 show. I think it's noticeable. I
He's
think
still got like
I think
got energy.
I
He's still
think
got energy. Which is
Tress. I think Tress was pretty noticeable,
good.
like for
Yeah.
the most part. I remember me and some friends were looking over. So there was this like Nickelodeon game that came out like last year, like one of those like
Oh, was it the
crossover
one
games.
where it's like Timmy
The Dice of
and
Destiny
whatnot?
game,
Yes.
yeah. We were watching like cut scenes or like voice clips because we were
Dude,
trying
that's
to
the
see like
last thing that Sheen's voice actor ever recorded for.
yeah, well, it was the first time he'd also done voiceover in like 10 years when he did that.
Yeah.
And I remember me and some friends were like going over all the cutscenes because we were just like, okay, how does everybody sound? Because a lot of these people hadn't played these characters for a long time. It was a very mixed bag. Some people sounded good, some people sounded fine, and some people sounded like, okay, you should not be playing this character anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
Or you need like a refresher to some degree too.
Yeah,
Like that happens.
I don't know how David Kaufman does it. That man is 60 years old. His
Dude,
Danny Phantom sounds exactly the fucking same. I don't know how he has done that for the last
Dude is
20
taking
years.
incredible care of his chords, man. His vocal folds are immaculate still.
It's it's the same with they brought Janice Coe back to play Jenny from My Life's Teenage Robot. Exactly the same. She sounds like perfectly the same, like as she did in the original show.
I met David at a convention just it was like a year ago at this point, and he did the voice in front of me like spontaneously, and I'm like, damn, you really just like activated it. Like, you still sound like him.
Oh, if there are like certain people where like if they do the voice in front of me, I don't like being the kind of guy on this podcast. I've never ever liked asking people to do voices because I don't know. I don't want to feel like that guy. Like, do it. I want you to do the thing. I don't like being like that. I know that they're probably used to it, but like I would prefer if you do the voice, I want you to naturally do the voice. I don't want to like pry at you to do the voice.
And honestly, a lot of people are that same way too, because again, I'm now in that position where I've been on the other side of the table, where I'm now the one, meeting fans. And first of all, that's an incredible experience to be able to have, and I'm endlessly grateful to even be in that position. I literally just got back from a con on like Monday, and I'm leaving for another one tomorrow as of this recording. So I'm keeping.
Oh, that's
busy.
why.
I'm
That's
doing
why.
a lot
Also,
of
that's why it took so long to do this because it was like every week we would try to schedule it. Every other week there'd be another.
I'm
con.
like, I'm in the UK.
There'd be another
for a
con or
convention for, like, 2 weeks.
something.
Yep. But hey, it's a blessing to a degree also, because it's like I'm keeping busy. I'm working. Cons are very here. Going into that whole talk, I'm sure you know this, and I'm sure the listeners know this too. Voice acting, for the most part, doesn't really earn you a living. You don't really survive off of voiceover work alone unless you're working on one of those big franchises. Obviously, for me, Digital Circus is technically a big franchise, but it's also independent. And so it doesn't cater to the same rules as like a lot of, the Hollywood shows, So for that, we still operate on a pretty independent budget. It's obviously there are parameters to things, but technical money stuff aside, a lot of us live off of the money we make from either taking other jobs or from doing the con circuit. That's kind of how a lot of voice actors get by.
Somebody I knew in high school, she was friends with a teacher was friends with a Broadway actor, and she told me like, oh yeah, on the side she like is an assistant manager at like a grocery store. Like that's what she does on the side when she's not doing Broadway
acting
work.
Is not as profitable as you think unless you're in Family Guy or The Simpsons, or you're doing national campaigns and commercials.
Unless you're unless you have like a consistent commercial gig, like I don't know, like a Gilbert Gottfried for Aflac, or you are like on the cast of SpongeBob, or a show or the Loud House, or
you're Billy West and you're like the red M&M.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like you have a steady gig for a big company, or you have a show that's been on for like 10 years, like SpongeBob, Adventure Time, Loud House, The Simpsons, things like that.
Yeah, like those are the things that'll make you big money. It's not feasible to expect that kind of income. Specifically from like not only indie things, but like anime. You don't make it from anime.
Oh, you don't make shit from anime.
Video games, you really don't make much either. I know it depends on like the production and how involved you are, especially if it's like a mocap game. Sometimes they've got specific things, but again, voice acting is one of those positions where you do it because you love it and you love to act, and maybe hopefully you'll do well financially with it, but the goal is that you do it for creative fulfillment, money secondary, because that's not ultimately going to work out all the time. But yes, doing conventions is basically the only reason I'm able to kind of get by. Voiceover work does make it's fine, but you really aren't going to be able to, like, especially in today's economy.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Like, I'm grateful I don't have to have a day job right now, but that's the thing. If you're going into voice acting, please don't expect that you're going to be fine just voice acting. You do have to have something else lined up, be it conventions, be it a lot of people do streaming and VTubing. That's
amount of like voice actors I've
people.
seen the last few years, like Amelie and Alejandro Saab, and like a bunch of those guys have been like blowing the fuck up with VTubing.
And
the
for
last
them
few years.
too, like, you have to consider they make more money doing VTubing than they ever have voice acting.
Well, and they got like promotional gigs, and they're sponsored and things like that. Like, they work with other companies too, on top of getting paid to do the VTubing stuff.
Exactly. That's like a big thing. I'm thinking of getting back into streaming just because it seems like it's fun to stream. I like streaming. It's just it's a time sink.
I like streaming. My issue is that I am very boring if I'm alone. So I need another person there with me, like on call, or I need like some engagement in the chat. And anytime I've streamed, I just don't have that much of an audience. So I don't have.
Here's the thing. We're our worst critic. We are our worst critic. Like, you look at any streamer, like you look at people that stream solo all the time, like Vinny or Germa or anyone like that. For people that aren't really into their style of comedy or what they do, a lot of the time, maybe what they do could be perceived as boring to some people, but they're just kind of chilling. They're having fun. Some people just show up to the stream because they like the person and they just want to kind of relax with them. And that's not such a bad thing. It doesn't have to be like constantly engaging. Sometimes that's a detriment, actually, because it can be exhausting to watch a streamer who's constantly super engaged.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like we should maybe pivot into the actual questions I wrote down that I'm thinking about it.
That's fair, yeah. We've been just going off.
We're
for a
like
while.
25. We're like 30 minutes in, and I haven't asked one question. So
well, we can pivot. That's fair.
I was like, I don't want to be. I'm not trying not to be rude. I'm just
gonna fun police, but I have to fun police.
Well, it's like, it was funny because I was thinking about how, like, I have unintentionally brought you on like every 3 years now since I started doing this. Because it's like the first year was 2020, then it was 2023, it was 2026. And it was so funny to me because now every time I brought you on, it was like after a big thing had happened. The first episode was after Has Been. Second episode was like the month after Digital Circus came out. And now third episode is a month before one of the last episodes of Digital Circus has come out. So.
Exactly. Maybe the year Digital Circus ends, probably. At least the show. I don't know. I have no idea of like what the timeline of everything is, but
I was wondering if there are even
left.
I assume, like, I mean, everyone's making rough estimates as to when the finale is going to come out, and I assume you wouldn't know either.
Your guess is as good as mine.
That's what I'm saying. I was saying, like, I mean, the new episode comes out in March. I was thinking safe bet November, October, maybe. That's like my safest bet. Like,
we'll see. That's something that, like, obviously I'm not allowed to talk release dates.
Yeah.
But, like, we'll have to wait. And Goose's favorite thing to say, you'll have to wait and see.
Well, I guess something I was curious to talk about with this is that, I guess, how have things changed in the 3 years since? Because that was the first episode of Digital Circus wasn't even like a month old when I had you on last.
And how many views did it have when we did our first, batch of talking about Digital Circus?
I don't even think. Well, how many is it at right now? Like,
Well, right now it's at like what, almost half of a, almost half a billion.
I think when we did it, you were talking about it cracking. Like, people were making bets about if it'll crack 100K before, or 100 million by the end of the year. I think that's what it was.
Oh wait, yeah. Was I talking about how I'm like, oh man, pretty soon it's gonna supersede Has Been?
Yeah, I think it was at like 60 or 50 million by the time we had talked. I think it was somewhere around that.
The pilot is at 407 million.
Yeah, I think it was around like 40 or 50 million when we talked last. So, yeah, now there's that, and just where everything has gone since that show has come out.
It's nuts. I mean, obviously things have changed so drastically. We now have 7 episodes out, and we have a manga in Japan. We've got pop-up shops in Japan and China and other places. It's been crazy seeing the vast amount of growth. Digital Circus is massive in Japan. I think so I don't know what this is. I can only theorize, but I don't know if you saw that the Japanese Digital Circus account on Twitter, as of this recording, is teasing something.
I have not seen this. I got rid of my Twitter account last year, so I have
honestly fair. Twitter sucks. Completely fair. Twitter sucks.
Oh wait, no. I got rid of it like a couple weeks after the election. That's when I got rid of my Twitter account.
Yeah, very real, very real. But let me see if I can find this post. Here, I'm gonna send it to you. Send a link to you. They said nobody has ever seen it before. A super chaotic circus collaboration has been confirmed, and it says it's going to be announced on the 17th of February.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Digital Circus and Japan KFC.
Dude, I think I know what it might be. But I don't, know. Again, I don't know, so I can technically say what my theory is. I'm seeing people say that they think it's Poppy the Performer.
I see a wolf foot and tail in that silhouette.
Yes. So people are predicting that it could be Poppy the Performer, which is one of the main inspirations for Digital Circus.
Is that still a thing in Japan?
Poppy the Performer?
Oh.
People know about the IP, but I don't think it's as relevant as it used to be.
I thought Poppy the Performer was like a mid-2000s thing in Japan. I didn't know if it was still a thing.
But I mean, the fact that Digital Circus is blown up and Poppy the Performer is an inspiration, they could be using that as an opportunity to bring some life back into the IP.
Also, I was wrong. The show came out in 2000.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 2006 or something like that. I didn't realize it was 2000.
But yeah, as of this recording, I don't know what it is. People are projecting that it could be Poppy the Performer, and if it is, that's awesome because that's, again, an inspiration for Digital Circus. So would be a really cool full circle moment.
If it was a Japanese KFC tie-in, how would you feel?
Oh, dude, I'd want I'd want some of the like merch from it.
Well, okay. Ooh, if they did like a Digital Circus like bucket, like specifically,
I would need it. I would love to have it. I would want that.
Well, and I guess
I mean, also KFC isn't like. Hold on, in Japan, isn't KFC like a big? That's what they get for Christmas dinner.
Well, that's what
right?
I was saying. That's why I said it. Is because I know KFC is like a huge thing in Japan.
It is. It's huge.
Well, I was gonna say, I guess how have things changed for you personally in the last 3 years since the timeline of events and since 2023?
Well,
where are they now?
I'm doing a ton of conventions, as I mentioned before. I do a convention almost every other week at this point, which is honestly fun, exhausting, tiring. The burnout is real, but it's fun, and I'm glad to get to see people that love the shows and are familiar with my work. And it's kind of crazy, despite all of the Digital Circus stuff. It's always really funny to everyone around me because they're like, "Oh, you're totally, known specifically for Digital Circus. That's like all you get." No. I get people that come up to me for murder drones a lot more often than Digital Circus, surprisingly.
Really?
I'm not even kidding. My like prints of N for murder drones will sell out before my Jax ones do.
You know what's funny? I still have not watched Murder Drones. That's like the one. That's like something I still have not really watched. I've
Liam did
seen.
an amazing job on that show. I love it. I
I've
think the only thing with Murder Drones that I'll say is it can be a little confusing.
Yeah, I had a friend who watched it, and I think they just said like, it's not for me. Like
That's totally
with
fair.
what they
I've got
watched.
friends that can't watch it, that are like, it makes no sense. I can't follow it, and I'm like, that's totally valid.
See,
You're
I
fine.
didn't even. I wouldn't have even thought that from what I've seen of it. I just assumed it was like a straightforward show about robots. Like I didn't think that there was like a abstract plot or like a more like hard to follow plot. I would not think that would be the kind of show it was.
Over, now that the show is over, I can say a little bit. There are so many things regarding like the overall plot and characters that it's like a blink and you miss it in the background of like certain scenes where they're foreshadowing things. And I remember when I was watching it along and I knew things going into it, I would see things in the background and know what was going on and understand that it's foreshadowing for something. And nobody would talk about it, or nobody would even notice it because it's so subtle in the background. It's one of those things where you go back around the show knowing things, and then you watch it, and then you see a thing in the background because you're paying attention to everything, not just what is immediately pointed out to you. You see a little thing in the background, you're like, oh, shit, it's that thing.
Oh yeah, because Digital Circus has been having a lot of the same shit since it's been out. Is like people notice background details when other episodes come out, or like a character says a thing, or this happens, and then people are like, "Oh shit, that was alluding to shit," or "Oh shit, that was actually a background detail," or this or this or this.
Exactly. And I mean, that's natural with most shows that have an overarching plot, but you see that a lot in Murder Drones and Digital Circus, and I'm sure you'll see it in things like COG, in the Gaslight District, and Game Overs, and other things that Glitch is working, and just anything.
Well, it's like Digital Circus to me. It's crazy to me because I was thinking about this like a year ago, where I'm like, Digital Circus I think is like the closest. I'd say like the closest thing we've had in the last few years to like a new version of Gravity Falls, where the fan theorization and the culture has been so similar in fan theories and character breakdowns and motivations and what is coming up on the show. Like I cannot think of another show since Gravity Falls that has had that kind of fan reaction to it, where so many people are doing theories and character breakdowns and like art or just so much shit just around this show.
Yeah, and we've only got 2 episodes left, so whatever answers people want from the show, I hope that they're happy with them, and I hope that anything that goes unanswered, they have fun, continue to theorize about.
This is the kind of show that does worry me, not in the sense of like quality, but it's more so it's kind of one of those worries of you hope with how massive the fan culture is with something that it's going to be a really good ending, and you always have that worry of like, what if it's not?
Oh, for sure. Like that goes for anything, because there are all these expectations of what's going to happen. And, I'll be blunt. For some people, there are going to be decisions that they're like, oh man, I would have loved it if they went in this direction or whatnot. Whereas there'll be people that are like, oh, this is just what I wanted, right? You can't please everyone. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast working on anything, especially when there are such heavy expectations placed upon something like this that has had numerous, endless amounts of theories about what could be or what could have been. And so it's like, I personally, as someone who knows the ending, I enjoy it. I love it. I think it's a really, really solid ending. I was very excited reading that script and getting to see everything that goes down. But for some people, there are certain things that I'm sure they would want different just because of the expectations. But otherwise, there are also people that I think will absolutely see the vision and love it. It's the same thing when we were talking about episode 7, how I don't know if you heard about people talking about, oh, it'll piss off the right people. And people will kind of have a split.
Was episode 7 the last one, or was that was the last one?
Episode 7 was the most recent one.
Okay, I was trying to remember if we were on episode. I was trying to remember if we were on episode 7. I was pretty sure it was 7.
Episode 7 is the one where like the entire adventure is fake. The Escape the Digital Circus adventure.
I for some reason kept thinking the show was only going to have 8 episodes. I don't know why. I kept thinking it was only going to have 8.
Originally, it was.
Yeah,
Originally,
maybe that's why I thought it was only going to have 8. Because when that 7th episode ended, I was like, oh fuck, how is this going to end? And then they mentioned, oh, there's 2 more. I was like, oh, for some reason I always thought it was going to be 8. I don't know why. I just always thought that.
No, episodes 7 and 8, I believe, were meant to be like one episode.
I think Alex. I think Alex mentioned that. I think it was supposed to be a
7 and 8 had to be
thing.
split. Episode 7 had to be split into 2 episodes. So half of episode 7 is what we got, and then the other half is episode 8.
I mean, I don't know what you like. I look at how episode 7 ends, and I'm just like, I don't know what you could have done after that. Is the thing. Like, I feel like that was just kind of a perfect stopping point for an episode. Yeah.
Oh man. You're not ready.
Oh no, I don't even mean like that. I just mean like I feel like I would have needed to like just take a well, I think it ends on the note of like, oh god, fucking damn it, but at the same time like it gives you that moment where you just need to take a breath. Like I just feel like if it kept going for another 30 minutes, I just feel like that would have been too much.
Yeah, I think they made the right choice splitting it because it gives you that perfect ending where everything is bad and you genuinely don't know where they're going to go from here. And now you've got a few months to process it.
Everything is shit. All the character relationships are now fucked. Like where is this going to go?
Where do they go from here? Now, where are they going to go? How are they going to recover?
Now that basically every character relationship is mostly fucked, like, where is this going to go? And you know that they're all isolated in one area anyway, so it's not like they can really get away from each other, is the other thing.
And is it a good idea for them to get away from each other? Because, again, the whole point of, being in this circus and whatnot is that, again, endless adventures and stuff to like stimulate your brain and keep you active and stuff. If you're not engaging with others, that you're just basically just going to be like you're in a depressive pit, and what good comes from that, right?
Well, I'm trying to even think of another show because I know I've seen episodes or maybe like mid-season finales of shows where it's just like, oh, everything's fucked, the cliffhanger. I'm trying to think of like, I know Avatar had like a finale like that at one point. I think it was like the one where like they like invade the Fire Nation or whatever, and it turns out the Fire Lord like left, and like all the adults got kidnapped, and like the kids had to escape or whatever. Like the everything's fucked kind of finale.
I don't know why. Again, this isn't like quite as much of like everything is fucked finale, but it just. I don't know why the one example that's coming to my mind is a season finale where they thought it was probably going to be the series finale and they wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be. So they ended it in a really fucked up way. That one season finale for King of the Hill where Peggy...
Is it the one where she falls out of the plane?
Yeah, and then hits the ground and then... Oh! The fact that they fucking made that a season finale.
That was a season finale?
That was a season finale.
Oh my god. Oh, I do you ever think about like I remember like a while ago me and some friends were talking about like you ever think about like those cliffhanger endings to seasons where it would have been really fucked if it got canceled? Like right there.
I mean, do you know Alf? Do you know how Alf
ends?
Yeah,
it ends with him, like, he ends up, like, leaving the family, and he's going out to the mothership, and, like, the mothership leaves because the government shows up, and they fucking take him, and that's how the show ended.
That's where it ends! Because they wanted to make a movie, or a special, and they never got to!
Well, they did a TV movie, but there's, like, nobody from the show in the TV movie, so it's still not really a resolution, and also Alf fans, it's considered so terrible that Alf fans don't consider it canon. So.
Yeah. So it's like Alf has a terrible ending.
Like I remember me and some friends were thinking about like those cliffhanger endings for shows where it was like, God, can you imagine how fucked it would be if the show ended here? Like if the show ended on this cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what, like, I remember Shaolin Showdown as a kid, like the first season had a really fucked cliffhanger. Where was it like the evil spirit like Wuya got her like body back or whatever, which basically meant like the end of the world. And
Mhm.
that it ends with her getting her body back, and that's where the season ended. I'm like, oh, that would have been a fucked up way to end that show if
Just
they
end the
ended
show
it.
with that, and it's like, well, everything's bad.
Well,
There's
it's like
no
this.
resolution to
It's
this.
like the Spectacular Spider-Man finale. That's another one where that did end on a really kind of fucked up cliffhanger, where everything was kind of shit at the end.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
another one because I know that there were like a lot of shows during like the 2010s that had cliffhangers like that, like seasonal cliffhangers. God,
What was it with showrunners wanting to end the shows in the most miserable way?
Oh God, BoJack had so many season finales that would have been such a shit way for the show to end. Oh God,
Yeah.
oh, the mid-season of fucking Code Geass. That was something I just thought about.
Oh yeah. Code Geass does have. It's been a while since I've seen Code Geass, but yes, you're talking about when Lelouch kind of takes the reins.
When Lelouch takes the reins, and him and Yuri Lowenthal's character have like the guns pointed at each. Yeah, and they have the fucking guns pointed at each other, and then it just like cuts to black.
Yeah, that would be a horrible place to end it. Or mid-season Death Note.
Oh, see,
like after, but also like ending it where like Light finally like laughs at like defeating L. If it ended there, it's like what story is that like evil wins?
I was thinking of like there's also I think like the mid-season for the first season for Code Geass also would have been really shit because season 1 of Code Geass does kind of end on the everything is fucking terrible like note because there's a whole fucking battle going on while that shit's happening and people are fucking dying. And then it just ends with the two characters like pointing guns at each other.
Yeah, Code Geass is a crazy show.
God, that's such a good show. It's such a good show.
I remember how hype it was when he was like, when he uses his power on like what is the being known as God to them.
Oh,
whatever,
the big British judge looking motherfucker dude.
Yeah. That show is insane.
God, that show is so fucking good. That's like
that's
like one of my favorite anime, like top 5.
It's insane. I love it.
God, where were we? I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about like how things. I believe we're still on the question of how have things changed.
How have things? Okay, I guess where have things? How have things changed since 2023 to now for you? I guess.
Like I said, doing a lot of conventions. I've made a lot of friends. With so when I worked on Has-Been's pilot back in 2017 through 19, obviously. I started making a lot of friends in the art sphere and art and animation sphere, and that's been continuing to grow. I still make a lot of friends in the arts, which is, I know there are a lot of people that comment. It's like this guy's in like everything indie animation. I'm not, but I just happen to be in a lot of the ones that tend to get popular.
I happen to be in the ones that are really popular. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm not in the Magical Girl animatic pilot show, which is, by the way, amazing.
Oh, the one Kiana Mai did? Or Kiana
Yes,
May?
that one. That one's really cool. I'm not in that. I'm not in Knights of Guinevere. I'm not going to be in Gameoverse. There are plenty of ones that I'm not in. I just can't think of all the names. But PP. Legend of PP is a really good one. I love. I'm not in that.
I've never heard of that one. Legend of PP.
Dude, Legend of PP is amazing. It's a student film. Beautiful short. I love it. I think it's up your alley, Michael.
Oh, Pippi. I typed it in like PP.
It is pronounced.
Oh, I have seen this before. I have seen this before.
But yeah. As far as like how I've been since then, good, busy. Lots of new friends. Burnout. I deal with burnout a lot because of all the conventions I'm doing, but that's not a bad thing. What else is there? I can't really think of much. I'm still basically the same as I was 3 years ago. It's just I'm a little busier. Oh, I have a Studio Bricks now. I bought one of those like.
Oh, you bought one of those fancy ass fucking sound booths?
I had to. I moved out of a house into an apartment, and living in an apartment and doing the work I do, where I have to like scream and be super loud. I didn't want to deal with noise complaints because my walls are very thin in my apartment.
Are you on your own or are you with somebody else?
Oh, I'm on my own right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just living in an apartment myself right now, and as far as things go, I just needed to be able to record without worry. And so I was like, well, whatever. It's for my business, so it's a complete tax write-off. And technically, I've been doing a lot of conventions, so I can afford to put this aside and do this. And
How much
so,
are those things? Like 2,000? Something like that?
oh, you want to add a 1 in front of that, brother?
What, 12,000?
That's how much I spent. Was like $12,000.
Oh my God.
Yep.
See, me and my dad.
12,000, and like it was, I believe, like 8,500 total,
Oh
and then
my
the rest
God.
of that was like taxes and shipping because
Oh.
it had to go in a big freight container and everything
I
across the ocean.
Me and my dad just converted my closet into a soundproof booth. Basically, we took giant fucking, like, me and my dad made a big ass DIY project where we took a bunch of like thick slabs of like cotton and just like put them inside these wooden boards and then covered them in the same fabric they make towels out of, and they're like fucking 10 feet tall, and we just lined my closet with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that does a good job for making sure that you don't have any reverb in your recording, which is good. But again, I just needed to make sure I had a space where I could scream and be loud and not disturb my neighbors. Like here, I'm going to turn off all noise stuff on Discord. That way you can hear everything clean as it is.
Oh boy.
So here, you can hear everything, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to open the booth. I'm going to step out, and I'm going to start talking with the door locked, like right outside of the booth. And you'll hear the difference in how I'm talking. Are you ready?
Oh, so you're in the booth? You're outside the booth.
Here, I'm outside of the booth now, but the door is open. I'm going to close the door.
All right.
And lock it. That way there's no air coming through, and then you're going to hear me talk. So here, I have to take my headphones off for this. So I'm talking right outside of the booth, and I'm starting to close the door.
Holy shit.
Okay, now I'm opening it back up, and here I am.
That's insane.
Right?
I didn't hear a thing, like dead quiet.
Yeah, no, it is genuinely really, really good at like suppressing sound. I could scream in here, and if you're in the room, you can hear it. You can definitely hear it while you're in the room, but it's not that bad. Like my neighbors will never hear a thing, so I could be in here going crazy. They'll never know I was screaming bloody murder.
Well, I think I always think of that video Gianni did with the sound cubes, where it's just like him fucking walking into his booth with like this big smile on his face, and with how he like faces the camera, you think he's just gonna be like, "Hi, I'm Gianni, and I'm here to tell you about blah blah blah." No, he just walks in the booth and he just fucking screams.
Yeah, when I was getting my studio bricks, when I was in the process of looking into it and thinking about getting it, my whole thought was, this thing is so big, and it's expensive, sure, but technically I can justify the purchase because of conventions, thank God. But I'm also just like, is it worth it? Because I don't plan on living in an apartment forever.
I was gonna say, is it like a 1 bed, 1 bathroom?
It's a 1 bed, 1 bath. So
okay.
I don't plan on living in this apartment forever. Maybe I'll move to another apartment at some point, where I could have at least a spare bedroom to either make a dedicated office or have a roommate or something in the future, or for house guests in general, or move to a house in the future. I don't know what my plan is.
Is this in the living room? Is this like in the living room right now?
This is in the living room. Yeah,
okay.
This is right in the living room. Again, I just wanted to make sure it was a good idea because, again, these things are huge and they're a pain to move. And so I actually messaged Gianni because I knew Gianni had one, and we'd been talking a lot more lately. And so I asked him, I'm like, hey, bud, you've got a Studio Bricks, right? I'm looking to get the Studio Bricks +1 VO edition. I know that's the edition you have also. How's your experience been? I know that you recently moved and had to move it with you. Was that okay? Was it a pain? And he was very lovely, gave me like basically what probably would have been a 2-page, 3-page Google Doc explaining his entire life with the Studio Bricks, why he purchased it, how moving it was, et cetera, how building it was. And he basically told me that it's been a really worthwhile expense for him because, again, it comes in a gigantic crate and they just drop it off like outside of your complex or home or wherever you live. And it's up to you to bring all the pieces up to your space. So if you don't have an elevator,
do you have to now? It's assembled or is it not assembled in the crate?
It's not assembled.
I was going to say.
But the beautiful thing is that it's a gigantic Lego set. They're big Lego pieces. They have labels on them, so you know where to put them. They basically come together seamlessly. All the pieces are like labeled, and they've got guides on how to assemble it. And, my first time assembling it, which implies that I've done it multiple times, which I actually have done it twice. My first time assembling it was really confusing because I'm like, oh, what if I screw it up? But I slowly did it piece by piece over the course of like a day or two because I was doing other things. And when I got to like the end, I realized, oh, the door isn't fitting properly. I didn't fit the door properly. And so I'm like, okay, how much of this do I have to take off to fit the door properly? And I had to strip it all the way down to fit the door. So
I would just jump out my window.
Yeah. So I undid everything. I undid the whole thing. And then I, installed the door. I actually had a friend help me hold the door into place so it would not budge just to make sure it was stable. So I did have to get a second person to help at that point. I mostly did it myself the first time because I didn't want to ask for help.
So do you have a screen set up in there? Or like, how does it work exactly?
I have an iMac set up in here. I'm using an iMac. It makes no noise. The fan is quiet, so it's perfectly fine. I do have a mount for a monitor if I wanted to get a second monitor above it, but I don't have one set up. The mount is just set up with the intent of maybe someday I'll put one there, but I don't have one. The VO Edition came with a mic arm that is mounted to the wall, and so I've got that set up. It has an XLR cable already inside of it, so I just attached my Neumann TLM 103 to it.
So how hot does it get in that thing?
I'm sweating right now because I've turned my AC off, but it doesn't get too bad unless I'm doing a very vocally intensive session, which I do those plenty. And when I do, I pop open the door for a minute in between breaks, and the cool air immediately refreshes me. Like I've opened the door now, and I'm feeling pretty good. It's very nice. But I also do have a little AC unit in here, which I'm just now activating. I'll see if you can hear it. Here, you will once I turn off.
Oh, now I hear it.
Yeah, it's pretty loud.
It's
but
not
it's
super
not the worst.
super loud. If
we were just doing something casual like this, you could easily add a noise suppression and get rid of it. Like it's totally fine. I keep it off just because I like to have as clean a sound as I can. But it's not the worst. It's totally fine, and it does give me a nice breeze that I enjoy.
Let's say, because whenever I use something like Reaper, I've still been trying to figure out Reaper, and I've had it for 2 years. There's some things with that recording software where I'm just like, I don't know what any of this means.
Oh, I love Reaper. I still use Reaper. I'm using it right now.
I use Reaper, but I'm like, every time I use this, there's like new things that I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know how to use this. It's like I was so used to using Audacity for so long that when I got Reaper like 2 or 3 years ago, I was just like, oh god, I don't know how any of this works.
I only use Reaper for recording. I don't use it for any audio editing. I use Isotope for audio editing.
I've never heard of that one.
Oh, it is an industry standard thing. Obviously besides Pro Tools or anything else like that. It is one that a lot of folks I know work with. Isotope. I use Isotope RX9. I usually drag any audios I have into there, and I have a selection of audio stuff, audio processes that I go through in there, like declip. If I need to declip an audio that is clipped, it does a really good job of making it not sound as bad if it does happen to clip a little bit.
Jesus Christ. It's IZOTOPE?
Yep, RX9. I've got RX9 Advanced.
RX 1300. Woohoo!
Now, here's the funny thing. I didn't spend that. You know what I did? I didn't pirate it. I found I saw a bunch of voice actor friends and audio people that I know.
Did one of them have like a key? Did one of them have a key?
No, nothing like that. I still spent money on it, but there was an accident on some website where an employee discount code was revealed. And that employee discount code reduced it to like $150.
That's funny.
And so I immediately was like, I'll spend $150 on this, sure. So I did.
I would say 1,300. No.
Right? Yeah. I think within like a few hours, it got stripped and removed, but they still honored the purchase that I made, as well as others that made the purchase before it was gone. I got that shit pretty cheap.
I technically got Adobe Premiere legally. I technically did get it. I got it from a friend who got it legally.
Yeah.
So
sure.
well, no, he did actually get like Adobe Premiere legally. He just was able to send me the file so I could download it myself.
Oh, good. Also, I'm closing up the booth again. There we go. Now it's dead quiet in here.
So I'm like, technically my copy of Premiere is legal. Technically.
True. On a technicality, yeah.
On a technicality, it was given to me by somebody who did purchase it. They were just like, hey, here's the actual file so you can install it so you don't have to buy it or subscribe. So I was like, oh, cool, thanks.
Cool, I'll happily take that, sure.
It's like, I guess something I was curious about, because I don't think we talked about this much the last couple times, and especially now. I guess, what has it been like going to so many cons and being surrounded by fans?
It's overwhelming. It's definitely overwhelming because, again, a lot of the folks that come to see me tend to be teenagers, and I think about how I was when I was a teenager going to conventions, and just knowing that I kind of get to be that person for a lot of people, where they want to come see me and they want to hear me do the voice and say things and just have that opportunity to talk to me about a show or a character that really means something to them. It's really fucking weird to be like, damn, I was on the opposite side of that years ago. But also, I'm really, really grateful to have that opportunity, and I try my best not to take it for granted. I was having a conversation with a few folks from the Knights of Guinevere cast, actually, where we were talking about conventions and how the last thing that any of us want is to be that actor that's been doing it for years and goes to conventions and it's just another job for them. It's just another, like, oh, I'm just going to work. None of this means anything to me. I'm just going to go see the fans, sign their thing, do the bare minimum and go. Like, if you have no passion for it, if you don't actually find joy meeting the people that love your work and you're an inspiration to them, at that point, I think you should stop doing cons, because they're not going to have the best experience with you, and clearly you don't care anymore.
One of the best con stories I've ever heard was Jason David Frank, rest his soul, the Green Ranger. He had this story where he was talking to a celebrity at a con when they were in like the break room, like the lounge area between signings, and he was just like talking to this guy, and this guy said, like, I don't know, do you ever get like tired? Like you just feel like you can't, like you just get so like you just feel like you can't be around this many people. You ever get tired? And Jason David Frank always said, how could you ever be tired of meeting people who love you this much? Like, how could you ever be tired of, like, hearing every day while you're here, hey, this meant a lot to me. Hey, your character inspired me. He was just like, how could you ever get tired of hearing that? And not even in a narcissistic way. Like, in a, I made a difference in somebody's life, even if it was just a small thing kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree with that notion, because you see so many people that want to be doing the things that we're doing. And obviously, we at one point were just like them. We were just in that same exact position of wanting more information, wanting to do what again, our heroes did, because it's something that we had a lot of passion for and hopefully still do. last thing we want is to, again, just be doing this because it's a job and money. I certainly the money is good for a lot of people, especially if you're someone like Matthew Lillard, who's got lines wrapping around like a building pretty much. You're doing great.
For a long time, Lillard was making most of his money just doing cons because he wasn't getting a lot of TV work or film work for a period. Like
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
There's a lot of older actors that I know make a shit ton of money doing cons because that's like the only work they can get anymore, unfortunately.
Exactly. And like, again, it sucks that is kind of how the situation is that we have to rely on conventions for the majority of our income. But at the same time, it's really cool because getting to do these conventions and getting to meet the people that we meet, whether it be fellow veterans and voice actors and animators and people of that nature, or, again, meeting the hundreds, if not more, fans that come up to see you and want your autograph, or not even your autograph, just want to say hi. Like, I will never tell someone that they have to go because they don't have the money for a selfie or an autograph. That means nothing to me. If people come into my line and they just want to say hi, if it's a huge line, maybe we have to make it somewhat quick, but I don't ever want to just be like, no, move on. I want to at least give them if even just a minute, just to be able to talk to me and have that moment, because I know how much that means to them, because I know how much it would have meant to me as a teenager.
Well, I remember I was at a con a few years ago, and they had Don Bluth, the guy who made like Secret of Nim and Land Before Time. They had him. Man's in his 80s, and apparently he was only supposed to be there for one day. He was talking to people for so long in his line that they had to extend him for an extra day because not enough people got to see him.
Yeah.
Because he was just talking to people for so long.
That's the thing. You have this opportunity to engage with people who are inspired by you, and that's inspiring by itself. Just being able to talk to someone who's clearly that motivated by what you do, especially for someone like Don Bluth, who's genuinely shaped an entire like era of animation for a lot of people.
I was just impressed that he was talking that long to so many people, because I'm like, that man was 85 when he did that. And the fact that he was that nice to just be like, hey, I'm just going to talk to this person for like 5 minutes, like in line.
Yeah, exactly. There are conversations I've had with people in line where I've been talking with them for like 5-10 minutes, and I literally have to have someone from the con be like, hey, your queue is getting really big. You have to wrap this.
Oh, like can I tell you my favorite con story of something that ever happened to me?
Please, yes.
So my favorite con story, and I will say this to the day I die, I got to meet Tim Curry in 2022,
yes.
And Tim Curry is my favorite actor. Like, period. Not even like in an ironic way. Like, I think that man is like the best actor who's ever lived. I love him.
Tim Curry's amazing.
I adore him. His voiceover work and his on-screen work. I adore him. He's like one of those people where even if the movie's a complete piece of shit, like he is giving.
His performance is the best part of it.
He's giving 100% for movies that do not need that, like most of the time.
I remember, what was it? People talking about how in like, was it Treasure Island? Muppets Treasure Island?
Oh God, he's so good
in that movie. He basically becomes a Muppet. Like, he is a Muppet.
There was a post I saw yesterday. It said there's two kinds of Muppet actors. There's Michael Caine and there's Tim Curry, and they're both good in their own way. There's the one actor who chose to do it completely straight, and there's the one actor who decided he is a Muppet, and they both did.
Yes. Exactly. It's amazing. Both are incredible performances.
But I met him 4 years ago, and this was obviously post-stroke. So
of course
he was in a wheelchair. They had his area covered. Like it was like this like sanctioned off booth basically, and they had it covered with curtains. I assume he was the only one that was like that, and I assume it was I assume it was a health reason, or maybe it was like just so he's not like constantly being exposed to like thousands of people the whole time.
Of course.
Yeah, so you had to like walk behind this curtain and talk to somebody, and they said like, hey, this. So they explicitly told you, hey, so don't have long conversations with him. Like, they were just like, hey, don't have like long conversations with him. Like, just say like short little things, because obviously he had a stroke. So like, you don't want to have like 10-minute conversations with him. And you want to get the line moving because of how big he is. So they told me that. I went up to him with my mom, and we both got a picture with him. And I was just like, this is probably the only time I'm ever going to see him. And I'm not just going to say, hey, thanks for having me. I'm like, no, I got to tell him something personal. I'm not going to just say, thank you for blah, 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 blah. Like, I have to say something to him. So I said something along the lines of, like, hey, like, you're like the biggest reason I wanted to become an actor. And he is. He is like one of the biggest reasons I wanted to be an actor. I said, like, you're the reason I wanted to become an actor, and this and this. And he like grabbed my arm. Swear to God, he grabbed my arm. It was like a pin. You could hear a pin drop in that room. Everybody was looking at me like I committed a crime. Like, nobody knew what to do. Like, everyone was looking at me like just shocked. Like it was like he hadn't done that all day. He grabbed my arm. He like pulled me in, and he was just like, I wish you the absolute best in all your future endeavors.
Yeah.
And it was like he had never, it was like it felt personal. Like, maybe he had done that to somebody else, but that felt so personal to me that he like grabbed me and like stopped me after I told him that. And the fact that everybody looked at me like he hadn't done that all day. Like he had just said like, oh, hi, thank you for coming in. Like, the fact that he stopped me to say that, I was just like, that is like the nicest man who's ever lived. Probably.
Yeah.
Like,
that's really sweet.
Like, the fact that he did that, the fact that everyone reacted like he hadn't done that all day, like that was the first time he had done that. It also, to me, I assume maybe other people had said that, but that felt like maybe that was the first time somebody had said something that genuine to him that day. Like,
it's possible. I have a friend that went to go see Frank Welker at a con.
Oh, he's so humble. He's such a super humble guy.
He is. Someone came up to him because he had like no line at a convention. He had like no line whatsoever. And my friend was a huge fan of his work. I think specifically on Scooby-Doo. You know, Transformers and all is great, but I think it was specifically Scooby-Doo and maybe some niche thing. I don't
like
remember.
Maybe like Aladdin, Inspector Gadget. The man did like fucking 2,000 things.
I mean, he did so much stuff, right?
Like,
but my friend came up to him and was like, hey, I don't know if you get this a lot, but I just wanted to say I really loved your work in so-and-so. I think it was something really niche, and we wanted to just talk to you about that a little bit. And he lit up because he looked like he was just kind of exhausted and tired and bored because no one was there. As soon as they came up and asked him that, it seemed like a switch flipped in his head, and he immediately activated and was like fully awake and was like, oh my God, I'd love to. And just, they got into a deep conversation about said thing for like 5 minutes straight.
Oh, I had a similar thing at that same con where I met Tim Curry, actually.
Yeah?
So I met Alan Oppenheimer, Skeletor, like the original Skeletor.
Oh, yeah.
He was like 92 at the time. He had nobody in his line. Like, nobody in his line. So I was like, I mean, I was going to see him anyway because I brought something for him to sign. I actually have an original layout drawing of Skeletor from He-Man. I actually have like an original like cell-shaded like sketch that they did of Skeletor for production, and I wanted him to sign it. And he had like nobody in his line, and we just talked for like 8 minutes. Like he had like, cause he had nobody there. It's not like he had a queue. So we just talked for like 8 or 9 minutes, and he told me about his inspiration in voiceover, and we talked about radio, and he talked about like the people he worked with in like the 70s, and it was just like he gave me like a crash course on his entire career just while we were talking, basically, and it was really cool just hearing him talk about all these actors who have long since passed away, like voiceover people, and just his relationships with these people, and it was so fucking cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really sweet. It's especially when it's like someone who's as old as that too, and they're willing to just have those long conversations also and be intimate about it and tell you about everything as earnestly as they can. That's just such a really cool thing, because again, they've had their career and they're to some degree retired, I assume. Especially at that age, or they're not working quite as much.
He's surprisingly not retired.
Really?
He's 96 years old this year, and he is still voice acting.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the dream, right? Is to just keep doing it as long as you can, so long as you have the passion for it and still want to also.
Yeah, because he had a brief character in the Toy Story 4. He had like a very brief character in that.
Oh, yeah, with like Betty White and everyone.
Yeah, he was that he was that clock that Woody was talking to.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. That's really awesome. I mean, because they also had Mel Brooks in there, right? It was Mel Brooks, Betty White,
Carl Reiner, and Carol Burnett.
I have my opinions on Toy Story 4, but that's really cool that they got all those actors together for that scene.
Well, I was like, damn it. There was like one person I was trying to, well, because we talk about like old guard actors, like old actors. I interviewed Jack Angel like 12 years ago, and he sadly passed away like 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember he told me stories about like, back when I worked in the 60s and 70s, like I had worked with like Dawes Butler and this person, and I worked in radio for 20 years, and I got to meet this guy, and I worked on this project with these people. And it's like you get to hear these stories of people who have like long passed away. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like it feels special to like listen to somebody who's that old tell you about like this person lived long enough to work with people who were like working in the 30s, like 30s and 40s, things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like with when you've done stuff at conventions, have you met like any of your like big personal heroes at any cons you've gone to?
Yes, I didn't really talk to them quite as in depth as I would have liked, but I did get to at least talk to a degree, a little bit to Rob Paulson. In like a green room. That was nice. I didn't really say much. I try to keep it professionsional.
See, okay, with the green room, do you all just hang out in this lounge area, I assume?
We're just in a lounge area. We're just eating. I try not to bother other guests.
That's my thing. Room. If I was in a lounge area, I'd be like, I'd probably be too nervous to bother other guests.
I just don't want to bother anyone. And here, another case was I was at San Diego Comic-Con last year.
Oh God, there'd probably be like that'd be like the most A-list guest room on the planet, being there.
Well, I wasn't there as a guest. I was there as a panelist, but I still, had a weekend pass and was able to go around and walk around. A friend of mine, who I won't name, but she is an industry voice actor voicing a legacy cartoon character. She offered to introduce me to Jim Cummings.
Oh, fuck.
And I really wanted to take that opportunity. He wasn't at his table when we were going to go. And so we were like, we'll wait a little bit. He did eventually come back, but I think at that time I had to go, so I couldn't meet Jim. But that's someone that I grew up with, loving their work. And me and Jim hail from the same hometown, too.
Really?
Yes, Youngstown, Ohio. I believe he was from the north side. I'm from the west side. And so it's just a really funny thing where it's like we can somewhat bond over at least growing up in the same area. But yeah, just that's one of those actors that I've always wanted to meet. Still haven't had the opportunity to.
I met him.
Jim Cummings
I met him.
That I've always wanted to meet.
I met him in 2019 at a MomoCon. I was surprised that man can still do the Ed laugh from Lion King. I was very impressed he can still do that.
He can still do a lot of things at his age. He's insanely talented still.
Well, it's like was trying to think because I remember I actually got the privilege of going into a green room at MomoCon, I think in like 2022, because an ex-friend of mine had a pass to the green room because he was part of a panel. And I was just sitting in there. I think there were a couple people going in and out, but I sat in there for a bit and I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I feel weird being here. Like, because I was seeing some of the guest people walk in and walk out, and I'm like, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be weird and like stop these people. Like,
here, you want to hear a surreal experience?
What?
It's so weird. I've had industry voice actors that I know that I've loved come up to me and say, "Oh, my son loves murder drones."
Oh, that
not even joking.
Oh, that would fuck me up, man.
I'm not even joking. You want to know who one of them was? They showed me their kid cosplaying as, I believe, either Uzi or N.
Okay, so
it was Josh Keaton.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was trying to think like older actor. I was trying to think like 50s something actor.
Oh no, definitely someone a little younger. But Josh Keaton came up to me and was like, "Dude,
God.
my kid loves murder drones."
Oh God,
I'm like, what?
That would fuck me up so bad if a voice actor walked up to me, like somebody who I watched as a kid walked up to me and said like, "Hey, my kid loves your show." I'm like, "Don't say that to me.
Like,
don't
what?
say
What?
that to me. Don't do that to me, man."
It's the most amazing feeling too, especially because like it's really funny because I love murder drones and I loved working on that show. People automatically assume that if people come up to me because they know me, it's because they know me from Digital Circus. But I've had a surprising number of people that are like, "Oh, I like Digital Circus, but I know you from murder drones."
See,
so it's just kind of awesome.
I'm the weirdo that knew you before has-been, so... See, I knew.
Well, I mean, in that sense, though, it's like you knew me from the voice acting circles because we're around the same people.
I have an advantage because I met you through behind the voice actors, so that's a different thing.
You knew me before I popped off.
I was gonna say we knew each other in the Skype days, so I had an advantage.
Exactly, and things have certainly changed.
Oh God, getting old sucks.
I was sitting on a bus a few weeks ago, and I saw my face in the mirror of the window of the window of the bus.
No,
like,
you look in the mirror. It's like, what have you become?
with the bad bus lighting at night, looking in the mirror, seeing like the shadows on my face, and I'm like, damn, I'm getting old.
You had that night that Jake Gyllenhaal Nightcrawler moment on the bus at like 11 p.m. looking in the mirror on the fucking bus, just like, oh God. Oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, well, I am getting old. What's become of me?
Oh no!
But also,
the thing
you have to embrace.
I just embrace it. I just turned 30 a month ago. I'm like, oh, I'm getting old.
Hey, I've got a few months ahead of you. I just turned 30 in June. I'm turning 31 in a few months.
I look at things now and I'm like, oh, that was like 15. I was like looking at.
I've already got crow's feet on my eyes.
Oh, I've had crow's feet for like 3 years on my eyes.
Yeah, I can tell that my face is getting a bit redder as I age too. A few things here and there that I'm getting
the Frollo, the Frollo from Hunchback jawline, like the cheeks, like the sunken in cheeks. Like my cheeks are starting to like sink in a little bit. Like,
oh yeah, mine are starting to sink in a little bit too. That's very noticeable for me.
Like one is a lot more noticeable.
That's also why I'm growing a beard now too.
Oh, I've been like growing out like I always have a goatee, and I've been noticing like gray hairs in my goatee, and I'm like, oh Jesus.
No gray hairs for me yet. I'm still brunette, and like my facial hair at least is kind of more of a dirty blonde. It looks like, but still no gray hairs.
Well, I guess like some other stuff I was curious to talk about. Well, because I talked to Alex about this before we move on from the convention stuff. I was curious because I talked to Alex about this, and we talked about White Claw Guy. Have you had a weird fan experience? At least one. Have you had like one really awkward one or weird one?
I've had plenty.
What off the top of your head? What's like the weirdest one you can think of?
Okay, I'll think of one. I'll tell you one that if the person is watching this, they'll know immediately who they are. So, hi, you. Hello, you. If you were at Level Up Expo 2025, you saw me and Luke from SMG4/Glitch, talking in front of the Glitch booth before open, or before it got really busy.
Was this before the con started? Was this like in the setup portion, like when they were getting everything ready?
The con was like open to VIPs, I think, but it really wasn't that busy. But we were there hanging out because we were about to film some promotional things for Glitch, like where we had plushies and we were going to film just a few things of us reacting to stuff at the con. And we were waiting on a few other people. I was the first one there, so I was just chilling with Luke. And we were waiting on Lizzie Freeman and Alana Fitzgerald. And they had not shown up yet, and so
was this the stimming video, like the one where you guys all had the plushies?
Stimming. Well, I mean, that was one of the things we recorded, yes. Which, by the way, sorry for being a little ableist there. Was not my intention. That's not stimming. That wasn't my intention. When I did that video, I was mostly like, you're not saying stimming like I am. You're still stimming, but say stimming. Something stupid. But it sounds so ableist in the scene. Like,
I never even thought of it like that.
But also,
honestly,
it's kind of hilarious because people are like, damn, Ann, you're an ableist. I'm like, that's kind of funny that, like, the most innocent, wholesome character, like, in that entire universe is unintentionally being ableist.
No, I just have this bit of like stimming. You're not doing it the way I want you to do it.
You're not stimming correctly. Anyway, this person, they caught me while I was hanging out with Luke, and they were like, Michael Kovach? Oh. And I'm like, hello, hi, how's it going? And like, usually, again, if people recognize me when I'm on the con floor or even outside of the con floor, I really don't mind. I like talking to people. I'm happy to make acquaintances and get to know them and chat for a bit. But obviously, there's a cutoff point where it's like, okay, we should go our separate ways. And it's up to everyone involved to understand when that moment is, and especially when there are audible cues. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go. So again, it was just me and Luke. They didn't know who Luke was. It seemed like they didn't care. And so they were just talking to me, and it was fine. I would rather get them away from Luke anyway. But we were chatting for a minute. They were on a Discord call with their friends. They were like, look who I ran into, guys.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
Hello. And it was fine. I don't mind that to a degree. But again, it's just some people can be a bit much sometimes. I was like, okay, we're about to start filming stuff. And so I need to go find the other two people. They're somewhere. I'm going to go look for them. And he's like, oh, I'll go walk with you.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, I'd prefer if you don't. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he just kept walking anyway and kept asking me questions. And I'm like, actually, I got to go use the restroom. So I'm going to go do that. And he's like, well, I got to go pee too. So I'll go too.
God.
And I'm like, I would prefer if you didn't. And so I lie to him and I say, well, I'm actually going to the restroom for guests that's behind the curtains where our tables are. So you can't access that.
I'm going to the VIP toilets.
Yes. And so I walk into the curtain area where he can't go, which lines like the entire side of the building.
Oh, yeah.
There are no restrooms back there. It's just a wall. It's just a wall. So I lie to him. I walk in there, and then I just walk down the hall behind the curtains until I get to a point where it's like, okay, if I walk out, he probably won't see me. And so I walked out. I watched for him. He was still waiting on the other end, kind of peering in, waiting for me.
Oh, man.
And so I just immediately gunned it, walked away. And then avoided him. And I kept running into him at the con. Actually, this particular person, I know, I'll say this. Alex Roshan actually had a moment where that person kept bothering them. That person kept bothering Alex
told me about this.
And Alex actually was like, can you please leave me alone?
Holy shit. That actually comes full circle because Alex told me that. He told me about White Claw guy, and then he told me about that guy. And he said,
yes,
there was this guy. He said, there was this guy on like a Discord call on his phone, and he was like following me and Lizzie and a couple people, and I literally had to tell him to like fuck off.
Yes, that was the same guy. That was at Level Up Expo 2024 or 2025.
That's crazy. I did not think it was gonna like come full circle to a story Alex told me.
Yeah, no, it's the same guy. I mean, there are other instances like there was another person that like came up to me at a con, and they were Has-Been Hotel cosplayers, and they did two things, one at my table and one at a panel that thankfully was moderated, so it didn't go through. these two fans, they came up to me and they were like, "Oh my God, I loved you as Angel in the pilot. If we like, if we brought like, a dildo, would
Oh,
you sign
okay.
it?"
I for some reason I had a feeling, I think you had told me like a story ages ago about like somebody at a con like asking you to say something really fucked up as Angel, but I think that was a different story.
Maybe. I don't even remember that one. But yeah, they were like, "Would you sign like a dildo? Like even if it was unused and everything, would you sign it?" And I was like, well, this is a family friendly event, so I wouldn't hear. If we were at like an 18 plus con or something, maybe, but like I'd have to think about that. And like after that interaction ended, I thought about it for a solid few minutes and I'm like, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't sign that.
No.
Because one,
It's like
even
the
if
idea
it's
of like
unused, even if it's unused,
used.
it's like the thing is, it could get used.
It could get
first off,
used.
and second off, if it does get used, where is the most appropriate place to sign? Because like the most appropriate place would be like the bottom of the base. But even doing the bottom of the base is
You
disgusting.
want to sign the
Um,
balls? Like what do you
yeah,
like?
nothing is hygienic about it. And I don't know if I'd want to sign something like that also. It's the same way that like, it's like, will you sign my boobies? I wouldn't sign someone's breasts.
Have you had
I
that? Have
wouldn't.
you had that? I'm curious.
No, I haven't had anyone ask me to sign their breasts, but I would not do it because one, you know,
It feels
uh,
so gross. Like
it does.
it
Feels
feels
inappropriate.
anytime anytime you see that in like a movie or a TV show, it's always like a sleazy person doing it. Like that's the
It
other
is.
thing. It just
It,
feels so scuzzy to do that.
yeah, exactly. And it's like I don't want to do that. And also what do you get out of it? Because if I'm signing your breasts, it's like
It's
you're
temporary.
just you're just gonna wash it off unless your intent is to get it tattooed on your breast. In which case, why would I want my signature on your boob?
Like I
Why do I-
know there's a guy who famously has like all the doctors, like all the living Doctor Who doctors, like signatures like tattooed on his arm, but he like literally had them Sharpie on his arm so he could get it tattooed later.
Yeah,
Like
and I've done that for people. I've had people be like, "Can you draw something on my arm that I'm gonna get as a tattoo?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, I've got to lock in and make this decent." But then there are people that don't tell me they're gonna get it tattooed, and they just tell me to doodle something. And I draw like something stupid,
dick
and they're like,
butt.
"I got that." I don't draw that, but like I'll draw like just a stupid doodle of something, like a I can't even think of any ideas, but I'll just doodle something stupid, and they'll come back to me and be like, "I got it tattooed." I'll be like, "No,
Like a farting,
I
like
would
a
have done something
like
better.
like a farting pig, like just something like
That's on your body
yeah.
forever." But it's fine. It's still funny. And if that's something that's meaningful to them, that's still awesome. But again, that they asked about the dildo, and I'm like, no. And then when we were at a panel, it was like a Honeycast panel. Go back to the old days, Honeycast, where it was me, Ashley Nichols, Edward Bosco, and Dave Capdeville. And I think we had Don M. Bennett on that one too, because Don was at the con. And so we just did like a live Honeycast, I guess. And it was moderated, thank God. Those two asked a question that got immediately turned down.
The dildo people?
Yes, the dildo people. They got turned down on a question they were going to ask, which was they were going to come up and they were going to like try to chant to get me and Ed to like kiss on stage or something. Which that wouldn't have happened. Yeah. Oh, I want to bring light to something, by the way.
Oh boy.
I don't know if you saw it. People have been bringing up this video from MegaCon Dublin that happened where someone asked me to marry them on stage.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that
Okay.
video.
I want to make it clear. They said right beforehand that it was a joke and to not take it seriously. And so I didn't take it seriously. I walked off stage as a bit, and then I came back like 10 seconds later and said, legally, I cannot marry you. Sorry. Played it off as a joke, and it was a complete joke. I never felt uncomfortable by it. It didn't bother me.
Is it because like there were some people on Blue Sky and Twitter who were taking that as like, oh, that's fucking disgusting. Don't fucking do that. Yeah,
lots of people saw that as about, and like, and also, I'm gonna be real. That is still unacceptable to do that, even if it is a joke, because I know people that have had experiences that are uncomfortable at conventions with fans where they've been a little parasocial and whatnot. Thankfully, of all the people to do that to, doing it to me is, it doesn't bother me, but I shouldn't enable that behavior because I know that it does bother some people. So to some degree, yes, that is inappropriate, but I still, at least myself, understood that it was non-serious and that it was a joke. And so I'm not upset at that fan. I don't want people to be upset at that fan. They were just having a goof and a gaff, and it was fun. They didn't do it in a way that was genuinely inappropriate in my eyes.
Well, it's like I feel like, I was remembering, you were telling me all this. I was remembering like there was some controversy a couple years ago about like a has-been panel. This is like for the actual like the show. I remember it was like there was this whole thing of I think
About
it was
a kid?
Yeah, the 13-year-old kid that was like at the has-been panel, and they like asked a really lewd question to like Angel Dust's actor, and I remember that caused like a shitstorm online when that happened, because a lot of people were like, why the fuck was a 13-year-old in that panel? Like, why were they not moderating that panel? And I remember, I think there was like another con with all the has-been actors like a month later, and they moderated the fuck out of that panel. From what I remember, like hearing stories about it, like they were literally like IDing people, like to make sure that there were like not like minors entering the panel.
That makes complete sense. Yes. What's really funny is we try to make sure that for the digital circus panels we try to make sure that they're age appropriate, because even though digital circus is not for kids, not by a stretch, it's not for kids. I mean, obviously we have the joke where Zubul says, I just want the ability to have sex, which is only censored on YouTube because YouTube required it to be censored or it would be demonetized. That joke is supposed to be uncensored and is uncensored on Netflix and in the British audio setting for YouTube. It's just, that line of dialogue where Zubul says, I want the ability to have sex is uncensored. We don't skirt away from certain things. We will tackle subjects that are inappropriate for children. So in that sense, it's not a kid's show.
I would say it's like, if it was like, I'd say like TV 14. Like, I wouldn't say it's like R-rated. I wouldn't say so.
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't say so. I'd go a step above. I'd say E10 plus. Yeah, like video game ratings, E10 plus.
I'd say like between that and maybe T. I say I'm leaning a little more PG-13 on it. Yeah, I do find it interesting on Netflix. It is like TV PG, I think, on Netflix.
Yeah, that's weird to me.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw.
Yeah, I don't think it should be.
I was shocked when I saw that when I was looking at Netflix like a month or two ago. I was like, wait, this is
by the time the show is over,
by
the time the show is over and certain topics, have come up, I feel like by the end of it, once they can actually review everything, maybe they should adjust the rating to a TV 14.
That's
once everything is out.
Though I think even the last episode alone, I'm like, TV PG, that would imply like a 10-year-old could watch it. I don't think a 10-year-old would get anything out of that last episode. Like,
yeah,
not even like not get anything out of it. I just think like a kid would either be like uncomfortable the whole time, or they just wouldn't get some of it. Like, there's some heavy ass emotions in that last episode.
I can't say anything about episodes 8 and 9. That's all I'll say. I can't say anything.
That's all I've ever known from everybody who's been working on it, is that it's definitely not going to be for kids. That's all I've ever known about the last two.
Certainly not.
Yes.
Certainly not. But again, the way we've approached it with everyone is the parents have been cool, and most of them have said, hey, we monitor the show ahead of time, and if we think an episode isn't good for them, we won't let them watch that episode. So I think I remember a family coming up, and they're like, oh, this little one, they're not allowed to watch episodes
like 3. I was gonna say like episode 3, because they're
not allowed to watch episodes 3 or 6.
Yeah, because because 3 is the horror house one, so that definitely makes sense.
Like they'll let them watch episodes 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7.
We will give you the cliff notes for episode 3.
Yes. Yep, exactly. There have been people like that, and I'm like, hey, if you allow your kid to watch it, I've got no issue with it. It's not like it's Has-Been Hotel with all the sex stuff. It doesn't tackle things as inappropriately as a show like that, which I don't think a kid should necessarily be
No,
watching unsupervised.
I
But
say I don't think a kid should be watching that shit at all.
I will play devil's advocate.
Ah.
I was a little child, and I loved watching South Park.
I was a 10-year-old boy, and I thought Robot Chicken was hilarious.
Me too. And we, as kids, would get into the stuff that maybe we shouldn't have been watching. Like,
oh, and then my dad caught me watching it, and he was like, "You're not watching this." Like,
my family didn't give a shit. My
Really?
family would let me play Grand Theft Auto. They'd let me. Well, my dad didn't let me watch South Park at some point, but it's really weird because it was. I remember the episode where my dad stopped letting me watch South Park. It was specifically the episode where, oh God, how do I say this without it being too bad? It was the episode. I'll just put it this way: the one where Kyle's dad turns into a dolphin.
oh no, okay, I know which one you're talking about.
That episode, my dad was like, "You're not watching this anymore."
I was afraid it was going to be like the Randy's giant ball sack one or something
No,
like that.
not that one. No, not that one. It was the episode where Kyle wants to be black and where his dad turns into a dolphin.
Just the blunt out of context sentence of the episode where Kyle wants to be black.
Dude, I mean, you have to have seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh,
Like,
I love that. I adore that show. I adore
like
that
the
show.
gang turns black or hero or hate crime.
Oh.
It's like,
What is it? Like, one of the first season episodes is like, or no, it's maybe second season. It's the one where like Frank is running like an underground child beauty pageant, and he finds out that it's gonna be like a front for a wet t-shirt contest, and so he like goes on stage to like protect the children from getting doused with a hose or something like that.
Dude, that show goes insane. It goes through it goes over so many like boundaries, but it's so funny still. It's so funny. It's such a good show. I love Always Sunny.
That's like something I was curious because I haven't really talked about this at all. Is your singing? We haven't really talked about like you singing songs for things or like that. And I guess have you always been a singer, or is that more of just been like the last like decade or so with some of your voice?
I've never considered myself to be a singer, and I still don't. I still don't consider myself to be a singer. I consider myself to be someone who can hold a tune if I need to for work. But I don't think of myself as someone who could release an album or anything like that. I see myself as someone that will provide vocals for other people, but I can't really, see myself doing, like stuff like Freddie Mercury or Michael Jackson or anything. The man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways.
It's better. It's better than me. Like,
no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place. I don't know. I don't consider myself a singer, but I'll do it for fun. And I've done choir. I was in choir in high school, so I have done singing since I was in school, and I've always done it for fun. But it was never something I aspired to excel at. It was always something that if the opportunity would arise, I would definitely be down for it and try it, but I by no means consider myself a professional. I feel like if I have proper guidance in a song and I'm directed to a certain performance, I can do a really good job. It's just that I don't have those instincts because, again, singing is something that I wasn't necessarily trained in. So there are a lot of things where I guesstimate what sounds good or what doesn't sound good. And again, direction helps a lot. Or doing 50 different takes of each verse, that too.
Did you want to do Addict when you did that song? Did you want to do that? Did they ask you to do that? Like how did that
I was
come
reached
about?
out.
Okay.
I was reached out to about doing it, and I had no opposition to it. I was like, that'd be fun. Yeah, I'd be down to do it. And so we did it.
Was that
same with almost every other fan song that I've done or original song? Is they're like, would you be down to do this? And I say, well, ask the original creator for permission to make sure. Which in that case, it was Viv. So we talked with Viv, and Viv was like, yeah, that's fine, let's do it. And then obviously Digital Circus fan songs. It was like, okay, go send a message to Glitch and let them know that you want to do this, and ask for their approval. And then they would show me the email that's like, yeah, you can ask Michael. And then I would be like, okay, let's do it. You got approval.
I've always hated like having to go through like multiple channels to talk to somebody, because it gets for my podcast in particular, it really irritates me because it'll sometimes I've gotten to somebody and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'd love to do this, but you're gonna have to talk to my agent to schedule shit, and I hate going to agents because agents never respond to shit. Like,
yep. Especially if they don't have like, any kind of financial responsibility. Like if you're not paying the agent for the time, it's like, well, why should we prioritize you?
Oh, right? I remember, it still pisses me off. I got Noel McNeil, Bear from Bear in the Big Blue House. I emailed him. He liked it. He agreed to it, but he said, hey, yeah, you're going to have to like, I would love to do it. You're going to have to talk to my agent. And of course it was a person from Disney. So,
oh, of course,
I had to talk to somebody from Disney. They did get back to me, but they said like, oh, well, D23 is going on right now, and Noel McNeil's going to be there, so he's going to be busy for a week. And so they were like, oh, get back to us after D23. I emailed them like 2 weeks later. Never heard anything again. Like,
well, what can you do?
Yep.
What can you do?
Or like there's been so many times where either an agent never gets back to me, or they do get back to me and then they never get back to me again. Like after they get back to me. And I'm like, yeah,
again, that's the process of dealing with agents. Sometimes it's a necessary evil, though. Also,
oh, I know. It's like, I don't think a lot. Like I think I talked about this in the last episode, but like it is this podcast. It's like for every person who says yes, there's like 10 people who never even respond. That's like kind of the thing with this podcast. So like when you viewer, if you the viewer are hearing this, like with this episode, for every person I probably emailed in between Michael and now, there was probably like 13 other people who never even responded, like between then and now. Like, it's always been the frustration of having a podcast. And you would think after having so many episodes that it would give more incentive to be like, oh, this person's been doing it for a long time. No, you would think that it would give more incentive for them to get back to you, but no.
Nope.
Sometimes it helps. Sometimes if it's like, oh, this is a client that I actually have, so like, oh, they seem like a good person. Jason Griffith literally agreed to do it because he listened to my Mark Thompson interview. Like,
oh, nice.
Yeah. He literally said like, oh, I don't really do a lot of interviews, so I kind of stay away from podcasts. But like, I saw your interview with Mark Thompson and I thought, this guy seems like he knows what he's doing. I want to get back to him. Do you know how cool that felt? Having Jason Griffith say to you, I don't do interviews that much, but you seem like a cool guy, so I wanted to do it. Like,
yeah.
Like that.
I love Jason Griffith. Like they seem so
cool.
down to earth just from all the I've never gotten to be at a convention with Jason. I have gotten to be at a convention with like Ryan Drummond, Scott Dreyer, who else? Pete Capella. Pete Capella, the guy that voices Silver, is wonderful.
I want to interview him so bad because every time I see any videos of him at a con, I'm like, you just seem like the nicest fucking guy.
Dude,
like,
can I be
shit.
so real with you? I've met so many guests at conventions and people that I admire and love, and they're all amazing. A lot of them have been amazing. Pete Capella is the first person to actually like genuinely leave me with something where I'm just like, damn, that dude is like inspiring. I want to be like him.
I like somebody who's so fucking nice that you're like, you walk away from it just like, God damn, I feel like a better person. Right.
I didn't know if he knew anything about me or who I was in any way. And so I popped up into his line because I wanted to get an autograph. Like I went into Ryan's beforehand because I was like, hey, you're the Sonic I grew up with when I was first a kid. And so I feel like I gotta honor that. I gotta get an autograph from you, bud. And he tried to be like, oh, this is free. I know because you're working also. And I'm like, no, I want to pay you.
I will give you I'm asking you to take my money.
Ryan knows that it knows better than to be like, no, it's free. He was at least, okay, half off. And I'm like, deal. And so I just paid him half. really sweet. Ryan was really nice. He said like, however, the only thing is I still can't get over people doing the voice in front of me because sometimes I find it really like, it's fun, but also I feel a smidge of secondhand embarrassment, even though I shouldn't.
Like people doing your character in front of you, like trying
No,
to.
no. Like hearing the character voice that they did, like from a video game. I don't know why I feel like secondhand embarrassment hearing it. I know I shouldn't.
I'm again, like I said earlier, I'm somebody who doesn't like asking people to do the voices, like, because I just don't like being that person. There's only been like a handful of people, maybe like 3 or 4 people ever that I've gotten on my podcast where I'm like, I don't normally do this, but can you do it the one time? There's been, I think it was Terra Sands, because Bulbasaur is my favorite Pokemon, and I wanted her to do Bulbasaur so badly, and I got her to do it, and I was like, to hear her do it. But I stopped recording when we were finished. I got Jason Griffith to do Sonic, and he said my fucking name as Sonic. He was just like, "Hey, Michael, thanks for having me on your podcast." I didn't record it. And I still kick myself that I didn't record it. Like, it's the one. I almost got Veronica Taylor on this podcast at one point, but I guess my email got lost in the mail because she agreed to it, and then she just like never got back to me. I would have her do Ash Ketchum for me.
Oh man,
I would want her to do Ash Ketchum.
But yeah, like Ryan Drummond did his Sonic voice in front of me. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said like a quote from it, and in my head I'm like, this is cool, but also, man, it's so weird. It's like uncomfortable hearing it. But like, it's not anything against him, because like that's awesome that he even did the voice without me asking. That's so cool. But like, also, I'm just like, oh man, it's so weird. Probably because I'm older now and I'm so used to hearing him from when I was a kid that it's still jarring to me.
I will admit he's another person where I think he has lost the voice a teeny bit.
Oh, but he's still got the energy.
He's still got the energy. He still does have the energy.
He still sounds like Sonic to me. Like, even though it's like, I'm trying to do an impression of how his Sonic sounded versus what it does now, where it's like, oh yeah, this is happening. And then it sounds like, oh yeah, this is like, it sounds a little more rugged now, but like it's like
oh yeah, it's like he is going like, oh yeah, this is happening to what it sounds
like? It kind of sounds like when a character voice becomes Flanderized, when you've done it for so long that you just kind of immediately shift into a certain sound for it.
It's like
it sounds like a mascot character now,
like the Cosmo voice from Fairly Odd Parents, and how that voice.
Timmy.
Hey Timmy, hey, like, oh, you go to the last,
when it
like,
shifted from like, hey Timmy, to like, hey Timmy.
See, well, because he moved after like season 2, it like went higher and higher, and then around like season 3, he like got it in this perfect spot of like, hey Timmy, we're gonna go to Fairy World. Like, he got it like right there, and you get to those last like 3 seasons, it's horrible. Like, it is so high, and it's like he's doing a bad impression of his own voice in the last like 3 seasons.
I still commend him for, doing a voice like that.
Oh no,
for as long as he does,
I'm not. I will never give Darren Norris shit. I love Darren Norris, but it's like, I don't know if like they just stopped knowing how to direct it, or like he just didn't really know how to do the voice that well anymore after a while. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to like what I was actually saying about Pete Capella. We got sidetracked so hard. Pete Capella. I went up to his line, and he had a few people in line before me, and he just looked at me. He was like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, you're supposed to be on the other side with like the big line. What are you doing over here, man? And then he was like, here, come on. What do you want to talk? What's going on? Just being super friendly. And he already had people in his line, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait in line. Wait for everyone in front of you to go first.
I'm doing this like the commoners,
I'm
Pete.
Like, I'm gonna wait in line like everyone else. I'll talk to you when you're done with them, and please don't rush them. Go, talk to them. And so he did his thing with them, and then when it was my time, he was like, "Dude, what the fuck? Digital Circus, right?" Like, he immediately like was talking to me about it, about how inspiring it is, about how much he's inspired by what has come from it, and it just became like a huge session of just him talking about how much he loves it and how he's friends with Lizzie. And how it's really cool to see the success on her end and everyone else's end with the show, and how it's so cool. And I'm just like, dude, I know people shit on Sonic 06, but I loved that game, and I loved you as Silver, blah, 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 blah. Really cool stuff. I'm really glad that you're getting to do shows like this, because Silver is one of my favorite Sonic characters, and your voice for Silver obviously is very inspiring to me. And he just genuinely seems like a really chill guy. He had a little poster on his table that was silver with like a bunch of rainbows, and it said, I'm trying to remember exactly what it said, but it was basically like, the future is brighter with you in it. And it was like LGBTQ plus supportive.
Have you seen that bit of him at that one panel doing the Silver voice where he's like, all people are special, trans people, LGBT, like he's like doing this whole thing, and he's just like, God, he just seems like such a fucking nice guy.
I saw that, and I saw that he had a lot of things about like his table being a safe space, all inclusive. And I'm just like, dude, you're fucking awesome. You are genuinely inspiring. You genuinely are creating a space where people feel safe and welcome, and you just are cool to talk to. You are awesome, dude. And so I was just like, buddy, I need to get, an autograph from you, but I want it to be whatever print you want, because I want it to be something that is meaningful to you. I like all of these prints. They're all great. Whichever one speaks to you. He's a surfer in real life. He loves to surf. And so he gave me a print of Silver on a surfboard, riding on a wave. And I actually have it right here.
Oh my God.
I have it next to my table because I need to frame it along with a few other prints. Bro took his time with it. He does this really cool thing. I'm going to take a picture and show it to you. Give me 1 second. But he does this really cool thing where he'll write the message in one color, and then he'll add a highlight. So it's like 2 colors, which he's going above and beyond for autographs. That's a lot of time to do that, but it's really neat. Here's the print that I got from him. It just says, Michael, love you, brother. The future is brighter with you in it. It's really sweet.
Holy shit. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Thought it was really, really nice.
Oh,
but yeah, Pete's really nice. And we exchanged phone numbers. We were supposed to go get lunch or something at New York Comic Con, but I couldn't go because I was sick.
Oh, there is a guy. I stand by. One of the nicest fucking people I've ever spoken to in my life was, his name is Mark Silk. He's a British voice actor. He was in like, guy's been in so much. He was like the British voice of Bob the Builder.
Oh yeah,
and he was in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, and he was in like Medieval 2, and did like tons of stuff. Like he was in the British dubs for the Ape Escape games. Like did tons of stuff.
Oh nice,
tons of stuff. Super fucking nice guy. Massive nerd. He was just like, oh yeah, here's my autographed print from Chuck Jones. Here's my Muppet book. Here's this thing. Like he had all this cool geeky shit just all over his house of like animation cells and books and like Muppet film memorabilia. And at the end of it, this isn't actually in the podcast because this was after we were talking for like 20 minutes after the interview ended. And he was just like, hey, if you're ever in London, hit me up. Here's my phone number. Let's have lunch. Like, it was so cool. I don't know if I'll ever get to see him because I don't know if I'll ever have the money to go to London. But, like, the fact he was that nice, just be like, here's my number, here's my email. If you're ever in London, just hit me up and we'll have lunch together. Like,
hell yeah. Yeah, no, like, it's always really cool when you actually bond with someone and you make friends and it's like, dude, let's hang out. And I never want to stand people up. Or I always want to, actually commit, because when you see someone at a con, there's only so much you can talk about, and also you're working. Getting to do it when you're off the clock, it's like, okay, we can actually talk, get to know each other, and maybe become friends or, at least acquaintances. It's just really neat to have that opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm like, well, it's like you were saying all this stuff about Pete Capella. I felt the same way. I interviewed another 4Kids person, funny enough, Jonathan Todd Ross. He was Merrick in Yu-Gi-Oh! He was like same way. Super fucking chill. Like, everything, like you just feel safe. Just nice. Just like the most cozy, comfy guy to talk to. He was so nice.
Dude, actually, I got to bring up another guest I saw at a con. I had to go see them. I had to because it was a show that meant so much to me growing up. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dan Green was at a con with me.
Oh, I've
And
tried to get Dan Green. That man is such a recluse with podcasts.
I had to meet Dan Green. I had to get an autograph from Dan Green because Yu-Gi-Oh! Meant so much to me
Oh,
as a young kid.
You want to talk about a teddy bear of a human being. Like,
yeah. It was really funny meeting Dan because when I did see him, his handler recognized that I was a guest and was just chatting and having a good time. We were just chilling. We're talking about, you keeping busy, everything good. They're like, oh, yeah, how's it been on your end? I'm like, oh, it's been pretty good, pretty nonstop. I just got a break, so I wanted to go say hi to Dan. And then Dan saw me, and, I can't blame him for this. We all do it. Sometimes when you're at your table for a long time and you're maybe a little tired, you'll autopilot a little bit. It happens to the best of us, especially if we've had a long day. I saw him. He was just like, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, oh, man, I was at the table behind you because I'm also a guest here. And I kept hearing you shout things as Yami. And so I just had to get an autograph. He's like, oh, cool. What are you here for? And I'm like, I'm a guest. He's like, oh, okay, cool. And he didn't. I don't think it quite clicked. But maybe I explained it bad. Maybe he thought I was a handler. I don't know.
Oh, okay,
but
yeah.
He might have thought I was a handler also. I don't know. But it was just really funny. He was like, "Oh, cool." And then it was just pretty standard autograph situation. I picked out an autograph. He was like, "Do you want me to sign it as Yami or as Yugi?" I'm like, "Just sign it however you want." He's like, "Okay." Signed it how he wanted. And then we were on our way. But it was still really nice. He's really sweet, really sweet. I could definitely tell he was tired when I met him. But that's okay, because I totally get how exhausting these cons can be. And I never judge anyone for it. It was the same when I met Charles Martinet. This was before Charles Martinet was announced as, no longer being Mario. But it was at a point where I already knew that he was no longer Mario, but I couldn't say anything.
Really?
Because, yes, I knew about a year ahead of time that he was no longer Mario.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of voice actors did because a lot of us got the auditions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, but it's a case where, you know this, but you don't want to like bring it up to him because, you don't want to do anything. But also, I didn't know if he was going to be doing cons anymore after he was announced as no longer being Mario. And so I was like, I have to get his autograph now. And so I met him. He was really tired. He was actually talking to his handler, like, I think I need to go take a break for a little bit before I was up there. There's only one other person or two other people in front of me in line. So I think they capped it right after me. But there was like another group of adults in front of me that was talking to him, and he was super chill with them. And then there was a mother and a child. And as soon as that child came up, he immediately lit up and was like, "Hey, look, how's it going? You a fan of Mario?" Or Luigi? He instantly pops into like the voice, talks to them immediately, like makes it a very special moment for them. Does everything he can to make it the most amazing moment for that child. And then it comes back to me and he's just like, "Oh, you're another adult. How's it going?" But like, even still, I never took that as like anything bad. I'm just like, dude, you are so fucking wholesome. The fact that you're willing to just go into that, that mode as soon as you see a child, because you know how much it means to them. That is so cool.
You don't want to give a kid a shitty experience. Like,
of course. And again, we're all adults. It's like, I'm an adult. The person in front of that kid was an adult. So they understand that you're exhausted. You've been doing this a long time. You're good. We just want to see you. That kid, though, they don't know any better. That experience, giving it to them like that is just amazing.
Well, I was trying to think of like every person I've ever met at a con. Because here's the thing. If I go to a con, a lot of the times it'll be like, because I've interviewed so many people. If there is somebody I've interviewed, I try to like go see them. Because I'm just like, well, I've interviewed them. Like, I want to just go talk to them, like, again, just to be like, hey, yeah, where's the... And they'll be like, oh, shit, yeah, I was on your thing. Like, yeah. I still remember Ben Diskin. The second con I ever went to, I had interviewed Ben Diskin like 3 years prior. And he still remembered my shitty username. You remember
I mean,
my
that's how you know
shitty
that you
name.
left an impact, though. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I was shocked that he even remembered the name. Like,
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, here. Back to like the topic of Sonic for a second. One thing that I still want to do, I mentioned there was, I don't know if you saw it, but there was an artist that drew something on Twitter that I'm like, I have to get a Sonic voice actor to sign it. It's this here. I'm sending it to you now. It's this
oh my God.
art someone made of Jax and Sonic both in maid outfits together. And I really want to get that printed, and I want to get a Sonic voice actor to sign it. But I already know who I want to sign it. I want to get Jason to sign it.
Why did I know? Why did I know? Why did I know?
I got to get Jason to sign it. Because bro is my Sonic. I got to be so real.
Oh
I
no,
love Jason.
Jason's
Sonic.
Jason's my favorite Sonic. Like, he will always be my favorite Sonic. But like, it's one of those things where God, I've wanted to interview like so many Sonic people, but so many of them are so hard to find, like online for contact. But like, funny enough, of all the people I was able to find contact for, I found Chris Thorndike's actress of all things.
Oh, good.
Well, it's funny. She's actually a really prolific voice director.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she hasn't really done a lot of voiceover work since the mid-2000s. I think she's done like a couple things. Yeah, Suzanne Goldish. Holy shit, she's done voice direction for Jujutsu Kaisen, Baki, the few Digimon movies they did the last few years. She did that Sailor Moon anime. She's done all the Sailor Moon dubs they've done the last like several years. Naruto Shippuden. Like, yeah, she's become a pretty prolific anime voice director.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I just thought, and she was like one of the only people I've ever been able to actually find like direct contact for from like that era of like Sonic stuff. Because some of those people have just like disappeared off the face of the earth. Like Amy Pallant, Tails, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've dug for Amy Pallant. Like, and I've never been able to find a thing for her. Like, no Twitter, no Facebook, no website, no nothing for her. Like,
I feel like that's someone that like people would want to see at a con too.
That's what's crazy to me, is that she's basically retired from voiceover from what I can find. She hasn't done anything since like 2014, I think. Like 2013, 2014. And I can't find anything about her. I think she did Tara Sands' podcast a few years ago, and that's it. Like, I think that's like all she's done in the last like decade.
Man, that's nuts.
Yeah. Well, it's like, because there were a few people from that era I was like trying to find, like the 4Kids people, and some of them just have like no digital footprint. Like, it's actually kind of insane.
And then you've got like crazy people, well, not crazy people, but like crazy stories like Andrew Rannells,
where
obviously
God, that is,
they're in a league of their own now.
It's so funny. I had always heard that there was like some kind of like rumor that like, oh, don't ever talk to him about the 4Kids stuff. Like, never talk to him about the 4Kids stuff.
But then they got him on the 4Kids podcast.
Yeah, and then he appeared on the 4Kids podcast. And I had always just heard for years people would say, like, oh, never talk to him about his voice acting stuff. He's embarrassed about it. I'm like, I find that kind of hard to believe. With how long he did voiceover, I find it kind of hard to believe he would be embarrassed by it.
I can't imagine he's embarrassed by it, but I'm sure it's like one of those things where he's obviously moved on from what he used to do, but it's like that's still a part of his career path, and it's something that brought him to where he is now. I mean, dude's before being as prominent on Broadway, he was doing James in Pokemon the Musical.
That's still funny to me. That like came full fucking circle. How funny that is to me.
Right? It's crazy.
Well, it's funny because now it's also come full circle because he's been doing voiceover pretty frequently the last few years, because he was in Fiona and Cake and he's been on Invincible and stuff like that.
Yeah. He's very prominent in the voiceover sphere, but just in a different place than what he was before.
Well, yeah, because now he's actually like got celebrity status because fucking Book of Mormon. Like,
no longer is he the last time on Sonic X.
God, oh fuck, I forgot he was the narrator. I just remember him as the the robots.
He was also, I believe, both Deco, Boko, and Bokun.
He was not Boko. He was Deco and
wasn't?
Bokun.
Deco and Bokun, yeah.
And he was also Gamma because when
Yes, and he was he also the teacher character with the
yes,
glasses?
yeah. I remember him.
Oh, and he was also Mako from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. The two things I remember him from were in Sonic X, and he was also Noah and Mako in Yu-Gi-Oh! Those are like the big things I remember him doing.
Yep, he was also this is like before 4Kids, I think, but wasn't he someone in it wasn't Street Sharks.
He was.
It was something. It was Street Sharks? Okay.
Yeah. That's fucking weird to me because that's almost exclusively a Canadian cast. So
Yeah.
I don't know how he got in that. Like, that's really weird to me.
Very weird.
Because I don't think
he wasn't even in New York at the time. He was in like some small town, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't really know how he got that part because that's almost exclusively like a Vancouver voice cast.
Very weird.
Yeah, like I guess another thing. Moving on, I guess like a lightning round of certain things that you've been doing the last few years because you were in Ellis Mark's pilot, which now has the second episode.
It does.
Yeah, the second episode came out like 2-3 months ago. I don't
Something like that.
remember.
Yeah, I actually got to spend some time with Ellis Mark and his wife while I was in Dublin.
I thought they were in Cali.
No, they're in Dublin.
Oh, okay.
Or not Dublin, but Ireland. They're in Ireland.
Yeah, I thought they were in California.
Yeah, they used to be, but I believe they live in Ireland. At least that's where I saw them. I don't know if they go between LA and Ireland, but I know that they have a place in Ireland.
And I guess like what was that little experience like? Because that's another like main character role in a pilot.
It is. I mean, it's fun. Clay as a character is very much different from what I'm used to because I usually voice characters that are a little more eccentric and animated sounding, whereas Mark wanted the antithesis of that and was like, make this as dry and as like, dead sounding as possible. And so that's almost a challenge for me because I have to shift from what I usually do into just kind of sounding like this and just talking very casually and not really trying, which this is basically like if I were talking without doing my usual retail voice thing. So it's basically just me talking, but it's completely dry. I'm not trying to put on anything.
The office worker voice is what I call that.
Exactly. It's just like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, that's not happening. I agree. We've been going for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. If you want to go through some lightning round questions.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go lightning round. Funny enough, office worker, you had a cameo in the recent Suction Cup Man episode. Funny enough.
Did.
Yes.
Yeah, I did, and that was really fun because they just messaged me because I work with
Zach.
some of the folks. Yeah, but also some of the folks that work on those cartoons just in other projects. And so it was like, okay, while we're talking, do you want to voice like a small bit in Suction Cup Man? And I'm like, dude, sure. Why wouldn't I?
Me and you are now officially part of the same series because I was the devil in Suction Cup Man 3.
Oh, dude, nice. Nice. Yeah. I just gave them a few takes, and what I didn't expect though is I didn't expect them to model the character after me.
Yeah, I saw really cool. When I saw the character, I was like, oh shit, that's just Michael.
Yeah, they even modeled the like green glasses that have like the gold trim on them that I wore back in the day. They had those on them, and I'm like, wow, that's just me. That's awesome.
Question number next one. Asta movie just fucking came out like 2-3 days ago,
dude. I've got a funny story. So when I got to London, I was in Dublin for a bit, and then went up to Ireland, just other parts of Ireland to look around, and then I came to London for another convention the weekend after, and I DoorDashed some food and went downstairs to get it, and when I got into the elevator to go back up to my room, someone rushed into the elevator with me, and I didn't recognize that it was Tom Scott.
I was about to say.
I didn't recognize him because he doesn't have the beard anymore. And so I didn't recognize him. But he looks at me, and he just has this very quaint like smile. It's like, hello. I'm like, hi.
See, I thought he was just going to look at you with a smile. Just like, You gotta do a voice in a cartoon.
He wasn't quite that blunt to start, but just hops in an elevator with me, and he just looks at me, and he like smiles and is like, "Hello," and I go, "Hi." I didn't know who he was. I didn't yet, so I was like, "Is this a fan? Is this someone that is at the con? Do they know? They clearly know who I am, but I don't know who they are." And so as we go up in the elevator, it becomes obvious to me that they are another guest. And so we just talk about conventions. I'm like, oh boy, yeah, it's gonna be a busy week, huh? You excited? It's like, oh, same old, same old. Just kind of just having, banter, conversation, whatever it is that we have. It was pretty fun, but I didn't know who he was. We had rooms directly across from each other. His room was the room directly across from mine. And so he showed me his huge ass computer setup in his room. He brought his entire setup with him.
Holy shit.
Because he was still editing Asked Movie 16 while he was at the con and doing things for it actively. And I still didn't know who he was because I didn't ask and he didn't say who he was. And so after we parted ways for the day, I was like, that person had to have been a guest. Who was he? He seems so familiar. And so I looked at the guest list and I was like, oh, it's Tomska. Oh, of course it's Tomska.
So you didn't see that Asked Movie was like on the screen of his computer or anything like
no,
that? Okay.
No, I didn't. I didn't because I didn't go into his room. I just saw.
I thought you were saying like he like took you into his room. And,
like... No. It would be really funny if like he didn't even introduce me to who he was. He just kind of he's like, you want to come into my room and see what's going on? No, yeah, I didn't quite know who he was yet because again, it didn't click with me because he didn't have the beard. And when I did realize, I'm like, oh shit, of course it's Tomska. And then we saw each other a little bit here and there as the con was going on. And then the last day of the con, he came up to me and was like, okay, so I don't know if I'm going to see you again because obviously US, UK here. Would you like to do some voiceover work for me for something? And I was like, of course, dude. I love Asked Movie. I love a lot of the stuff you've made. Why wouldn't I? Why would I say no? She's like, okay, great. Do you have an email or a Discord and whatnot? And we obviously hashed that all out. And then literally as soon as I got back from the con, he was ready to go. We recorded my bits for Asked Movie.
Well, because I saw, because Lizzie had said the same thing of, like, she met Tom at the con. So I was just like, oh, Tom went to a few people at the con, didn't he?
He sure did. I've been mutuals with Tom for maybe a year, but we never talked. And then at MegaCon Live in London was when we actually talked, which was genuinely just a few weeks ago. So the turnaround time is crazy.
I'm friends. Well, not friends. I'm friendly acquaintances that have interviewed his friend Eddie because I fucking love Eddie. He's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Lightning round. Poppy's Playtime. What was it? What was that like? Doing big clay motherfucker.
Big clay motherfucker.
Big clay motherfucker.
It was fun. So I've voiced in Poppy Playtime since chapter 1.
Yeah.
I've been a bunch of VHS tape characters, such as Scientist that appears in basically every chapter. That's just like log code, blah 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 blah. In relation, experiment 1006, the prototype. Doing just that kind of basic me talking. It's very serious. And then a character named Rich, who's just like, I hate this stupid job. I always get delegated to the basement and all the shitty toys and blah, 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 blah. And then as the chapters go on, he takes on more of a management position and is like, listen, we're a family. He kind of matures in his own right, where he's less grumpy and is more like, hey, I'm a seasoned worker here. I'm going to take care of you. You're someone I want to make sure has the best treatment. Just someone that actually cares. And so that's been cool. But when they were doing chapter 4, I think they just had me in mind from the get for Doey, because they didn't hold auditions to my knowledge. They just reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to try for the main companion / villain character of chapter 4? And I said, sure, yeah, send me all the info. And we did the audition. I got info. Very interesting character. I didn't really know how to approach it. They had certain ideas, and I wasn't quite following perfectly.
Did they pitch it a little bit? I had wondered if they pitched it a little bit.
Yes, they did.
I was going to say.
But that was the intent, was to pitch it, because we wanted it to be a performance that could sound silly, but also sound really grounded. And so I really didn't, if I was going to do something really grounded with that character, which we obviously had to a bit later into the game, um, I didn't want to do anything that would be obviously impossible to take seriously. Like,
doing a voice that deep and trying to sound serious would not be easy to do.
and so what we did is we compromised. I did a voice similar to that, closer to my natural voice that could be shifted to sound more serious. The bass voice for Doey, before pitch shifting, he sounds like this. So it's like, hiya there, I'm Doey. That's what he sounds like without pitch shifting. So it's like there's a cardboard cutout of him where I'm doing the more cartoony voice without pitch shifting, where it's like, hiya there, I'm Doey. That's like what his super cartoony cardboard cutout voice sounds like. And then the actual monster himself, when he's just talking, he's just like, let's try to do this, okay? Come on. And then obviously when it gets more serious, because there's 3 kids inside of him, Kevin, Matt, and Jack. Kevin is kind of the shithead that has attitude problems. Matt is a leader, and Jack is a little baby boy that just cries and laughs a lot. And so we had to do a lot of interesting things where we would have to shift between the 3 characters, like who's taking the lead here. Sometimes it's an amalgamation of like 2 of them.
I have not played the game, so are they dead children? Are they souls of children? Like,
they are the souls of children. Okay. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't know if it was like a FNAF thing where it was like the souls of children kind of thing.
I might be wrong. I haven't played the games.
I haven't played them either. So
yeah, I'm not a big mascot horror guy, but with all I know basically is that these are 3 children, and they are in this amalgamation of this character named Doey, and basically at any point they're fighting for the steering wheel. Who's in control? Who's doing what? So we had to play around with some lines would be written in a way where I would question, okay, who's talking? Is it Kevin? Is it Matt? Or is it Jack? And sometimes they wouldn't have a concrete answer of, oh, well, this is written in a way where it could be Kevin, but it could be Matt. Or, oh, it could be Matt or it could be Jack. Usually Matt is the one in control. Matt is the most common voice for Doey. And so with Matt, his voice is... It would shift from being kind of playful to just kind of being me talking like this. And for the more serious, stern scenes where he's being a bit of a leader. And then they would pitch shift it to
sound a lot deeper.
Without sounding as strained.
That fucks me up, dude. Whenever you do that,
I can the thing is, when we did the pitch shifting for Doey, I specifically wanted to do it in a way where like it could still be something I could reasonably do, but it's just the problem is that it wouldn't sound as like grounded and natural if I tried doing a character voice at that pitch.
When I did the devil for Suction Cup Man, it was the same thing, because I can do that voice, but it would have been easier to just because when it's not pitched, it just sounds like this. But like I can actually do the voice in the short.
It's just harder to maintain.
It's just harder to maintain it. So I would do this, so it'd be easier to just pitch it down from like this voice.
Yeah, and that's how it is with Doey. When people see me in real life and they ask me to do the Doey voice, I can be like,
hiya there, I'm Doey.
Like I can,
but
do
like
that,
you can't consistently do it for a long time.
I can't do that consistently for a long time. Nor can I do it in a read where it has to be taken completely seriously. It's one of those character voices where a compromise was made where I was like, let's go a little higher and we'll pitch shift it in post to sound more like that voice, which also makes him sound a little more like a monster anyway, having that pitch shifted kind of quality. And I think it actually worked out better for him that way, because you can hear in his voice performance that sometimes it shifts from being a slight pitch shift to being a complete, even 2 octaves lower pitch shift. The pitch shifting is not consistent. That's part of the quality of Doey's character, is that like he's shape shifting a little bit to even in his voice, and that's kind of the point of him. But yeah, that character was a challenge, just because again, 3 kids, 1 being You have to be able to switch between them. There's one line, if you ever watch a playthrough of it, that I love to reference, where it's at the beginning when you are just getting to know him and you don't really know how much you can trust him yet, or he doesn't know how much he can trust you yet, the player. And so you're looking for a way to get into a certain room, to activate some machines to get into another part of the building. And Doey helps you and gives you, I think, a key. And you can see his arm reach out from the ceiling. And you hear the line start with like,
Here!
It's Jack, the little kid, being super playful, being like,
Here!
and then it shifts to Matt, or not Matt, it shifts to Kevin, who completely does not trust the player. So it goes from like,
Here! Use this.
yeah. So like it starts off really playful and then immediately cuts to like,
Use this.
very deadpan and serious and scary. Just to give you an idea of like the dynamic between some of these kids in that body. Very fun to play around with. I loved Doey.
All right, I have one more lightning round, and then like I guess one more big question, and then we'll do the wrap up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kings of Hell. That also just came out not too long ago. That video game.
That one's not out yet. That one's just got a bunch of demos, doesn't it?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure the full game just came out.
There is no way, because they told me they still got lots of stuff to record.
Oh,
Kings of Hell.
I swear. Let me check. I swear, because when I looked at Steam, I swear it said like actual like early release.
Early access game.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought it was just in like demo for a bit.
What the hell? Wait, no, they did release it, but it's in early access.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I was not informed of that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
news to me.
Yeah, because I saw it. Yeah,
I saw to message the creator.
I saw a couple months ago. I was like, oh shit! It actually like technically is released. Huh.
Oh my god! I've got to message the creator and get a code for it so I can actually play it.
Yeah. It came out the Thanksgiving weekend.
I didn't know that. They didn't tell me. Oh no! I have to reach out to them.
Wait.
But yes. What
was it like recording for a game like that, like a beat 'em up?
Really fun. So the way we do it is, they had me in one session where I just did a bunch of like, doing all those noises. And then gradually over time, they've had me come in to record cutscenes, because there's a bunch of cutscenes for stuff. I don't know what chapter they've gone up to in the Steam release, but I know that they're pretty chill. So I'll just say what I've recorded is like, I've recorded a few chapters worth of cutscenes as the character Gramiel, who is,
basically me talking kind of like a mix of Angel Dust, Fantokyo, and he's just kind of got a bit of a shit talking grin to him,
I don't know how else to really put
They
it.
are currently up to chapter 4. The final game will have 6.
Oh, okay. So everything I've recorded is in, I believe. Great. But yeah, I voice Gramiel. And I also voice a little owl character named Stolas. Not related.
I was about to say, that's a very weird coincidence.
Well, Stolas is a character what is it called? The Grimoire?
Oh yeah, like Stolas is actually like the name Stolas actually comes from like Beelzebub and like those like demon names from actual like folklore. Jesus, you got some big ass legs. Just looked at an image of him from the game. Jesus, his legs are huge.
Are they? I didn't realize.
He's got some meaty thighs.
Oh, some like thighs. Oh yeah. He does. Yes,
I just looked at an image of him. He's got some meaty ass thighs.
He does indeed. Yes, he does. But yeah, that character, I voiced them also. I think they don't appear until chapter 3 or 4. But they are one of the characters where I actually got to use my crappy Winnie the Pooh impression.
Oh my god.
Yes, their voice sounds like this. I talk like this for Stolas.
It's just a Sterling Holloway kind of impression. I'm like,
yes, what can I do for you? Can I help in any way? I'll try my very best.
I'm funny. I'm looking at like images of this game because like I played the demo. I hadn't touched it in a while. I forgot how fucking horny this game is.
This is a horny game.
I forgot how fucking horny this game is.
Yep. You know, one of the things that has come with my level of, I guess popularity to a degree. I don't like saying that because I don't want to sound conceited, but at the same time, I don't know how else to put it. But one
I
thing
guess
that has come of that
status, I guess.
I guess, is I know that a lot of people follow me specifically for Murder Drones and Digital Circus and things like that, and I know a lot of folks that follow me tend to be on the younger side, and so I now have made it a commitment that I cannot post anything too inappropriate on social media, and so unfortunately, Kings of Hell falls into that category of sometimes I'll post about it to promote it, but I have to be very careful. And I won't say anything about or I won't post anything inappropriate. And I have to clarify. It's like, this game is a little raunchy and a little sexy. So, keep that in mind if I post anything.
I'm looking at images of these characters. Every character in this game is either thick or buff.
Yes.
Every character.
Exactly, dude. They're unabashed. They don't care.
I remember a couple bits from the demo. I think even in the trailer, there was a character tied up with his ass in the air or something like that. It is unapologetically horny.
Exactly. And you know what? I vibe with it. That's cool. I'm ace as hell, but I still think that's cool.
It's funny. I'm on the spectrum of I'm ace in terms of romantic. I'm pan in terms of sexual. So
yeah, I'm pretty ace through and through, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, Kings of Hell is awesome. I really like the developer for that. We've had a bunch of fun conversations. We don't talk as much as I'd like. They've been busy working. Honestly, now that I know that it's in early access, again, I've got to message them. And be like, hey, what's going on, bud? Can you give me a code? Can you give me a Steam key, please? I'm excited, though. That one is cool.
I guess, the last big question I wanted to ask before we wrap this up is, I guess, with where Digital Circus is and with the last episodes coming out, the last one possibly the end of this year, I was wondering, what was it like having to go from, I guess, the more comedic asshole to having to do a lot more serious acting in the last couple episodes, very emotionally raw acting with Jax?
Definitely not quite what I was expecting to do when I started working on it. Especially, my favorite thing to mention to people is, if you watch the first episode and listen to me as Jax, you can really hear that I'm a lot more sleazy and I'm hardly enunciating very much. That's by design. That's kind of what Goose wanted, was for me to just kind of be very, very sleek and lazy and just whatever, we're just doing our thing, the ragdoll, whatever. I got keys everywhere. Nothing's happening to you guys. And that's pretty consistent through the pilot. And then episode 2, I start off still talking like that. But then Jax has to get a little loud when he's in the truck. He starts giving Gangle instructions and stops being quite as deadpan-ish. And so Goose is like, well, actually, yeah, Jax does kind of talk a little louder and does have an emotional range. So I guess here we'll just change things up a little. And so immediately from there is where I change the voice to what it is now, which is as soon as he starts giving Gangle instructions in episode 2, you can immediately hear the difference. It shifts from, well, oh, God, that's the horn. Okay, Gangle, you drive. And then, all right, Gangle, first we're going to go sneak up on them. And then immediately I my tone shifts to me enunciating normally, because we're like, okay, Jax has to enunciate now. You can hear it mid-episode, me changing the voice for the character a little bit.
Well, it's so funny.
It's kind of hilarious.
I went back with the newest episode. I actually went back to a lot of the older episodes because I hadn't watched them in a while. The pilot is so weird to watch now in comparison to all the episodes.
You can hear quite a few character voices change. You
You
can hear that Amanda as Ragatha has shifted their voice a lot into something unique for Ragatha. You can hear that Kinger's voice has also slightly become a little more unhinged sounding. A lot of
It's
little things.
the
here and there.
animation even is like noticeable. Like some of the designs are a little more noticeably different than how they are later. Like I've noticed one of the distinct ones is like Kane's eyes are a lot smaller, which is really weird seeing in later episodes compared to the first one.
Yeah, like they obviously brought on a bunch of new animators as they increased their budget as the show popped off, and they've been able to do a lot more to make sure that it's of the highest possible quality. And the more recent episodes just look incredible. Like they look almost film quality, which is insane.
But I guess like adding on to that, with how was it recording that final bit for, I guess, both of the last two episodes? Because there's that bit with Jax where he freaks out at Pomni, and then there's pretty much the entire third act of like the last episode. I guess, how was it having to do your character basically snapping?
It was fun. So with episode 6, that was a really fun one to do, because with that one, obviously that is like the Jax episode to a degree, where it's Jax and Pomni and they're up against everyone else, team bad guys, and it's basically Jax bringing Pomni a little bit more into his world and his mindset of, none of this is real, you know? We're all just cartoon characters at this point. We kind of abandoned our humanity, so why try to cling to it? Be a cartoon character. Have fun. Get silly with it. We're just cartoon characters. Come on. Those emotions, we don't need those. And then as things go on, you can see that obviously Jax still is burdened by a lot of emotional turmoil that he is not talking about and is trying to avoid and whatnot. Something that is a very real thing. We all, to some degree, will avoid conflict and just focus on, you know what, this makes me feel better, to deny the reality of how much everything sucks or everything is hurting me. So I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. And that's something Jax is guilty of. And then the moment he has to confront that, obviously he lashes out at Pomni and does what he thinks is the best possible thing he can, which is cut her off and get her to stop talking to him, because obviously she sees through his mask now. And that leads into just this whole argument about, we weren't ever friends. I was just using you. I don't actually care about you or your feelings. This is all a game to me, which that's not actually how he feels, obviously. That's him trying to, again, avoid attachment.
Well, it's the statement basically of, well, okay, what if I died tomorrow? What would you do? Like,
I'd move on and probably forget about you.
Yeah.
It's like, he has been hurt in the past, whether it be in the circus, in real life, we don't know quite yet, but something in his life has hurt him and caused him to be in this mindset where he has to avoid emotional attachment and avoid confrontation of his problems. And so he'll do anything he can to avoid dealing with those issues. And in that moment with Pomni, again, he sees that as an opportunity to just push her away and protect himself, because he sees it as protecting himself from facing the cold reality of what's happened, what he has to deal with, what he has to accept, and to that degree also his own actions, acknowledging his own actions. And we go deep into stuff with Jax in those 2 episodes. And there's obviously a lot there that when Goose and I were workshopping it, we wanted to make sure that we can tell that he's kind of breaking. And so specifically, one thing that Goose wanted a lot of that maybe you'll notice listening back to it, or maybe you did notice, is his voice cracking. We wanted him to have these very pathetic voice cracks where it's obvious he's not controlling the narrative. He's not confident in what he's saying.
Oh, during the rant? Like when he's like cussing her out, basically?
Yeah, like, exactly. When he's like, I do not care about you or anyone else in this circus in the slightest.
Yeah.
End of story. And then his voice is like getting quivery. You are my plaything. And he's like kind of going.
Well, yeah, he sounds like he's about to start fucking crying in the middle of saying that.
Because he's, And then obviously the thing that he does where he's all censored. And please do add the funny cartoon sound effects to that in post because it's funny. For that whole thing, it's like that's him realizing that he's absolutely not handling it well, and that he's not as in control or as on top of it as he thought he was, and so he's just defeated. And then you watch episode 7, and I don't know if you picked up on it, maybe you did, but other people have totally picked up on it. Is that he's a pretty broken man now.
Yeah.
He's not doing well. You can literally hear in the tone of his voice that he basically doesn't go above this. He's just kind of back to being whatever. I'll just do it. I'll go along with it. Whatever. Peak depression.
Well, a little more than peak depression in the borderline suicidal.
Pretty much, yeah. Dude, I don't know if this was intentional or not. So there's one thing I saw a fan bring up that I don't know if it's intentional.
If it's what I'm thinking of, I'm curious. Like
during the scene where Jax is having those hallucinations, the abstraction sequence, when he wakes up and he has those little abstracted eyes for a second, and it pans out to his room. When you get to see that full picture of his room, someone pointed out, and again, maybe it doesn't have the same implication that that I'm thinking, but a fan pointed it out and I can't stop thinking about it. He has a pair of scissors next to his bed.
Ooh, I didn't notice
like,
that.
Having a pair of scissors next to your bed could be an implication of self-harm.
Ooh, I never noticed that. I thought it was going to be like the thing, because I've seen a lot of people point out like that they think that that's Ribbit's room because it's like noticeably like it seems very not fitting for him, like the stuff that's in the room.
Well, if it's Ribbit's room, then why is it across from Pomni still when he opens the door?
Well, I think it was like I saw some people like make the theory of like, oh, what if he like switched the signs or something? Like maybe like Ribbit's room was where Jax's room used to be, or maybe like they switched the signs or whatever.
Yeah, I heard a few people say that. That's an interesting theory. I guess we'll see where things go in the next 2 episodes. But yes. As far as just like that entire freak out also at the end of episode 7, that was also really fun because everything led up to that moment where, Jax is very much just going along with it because everyone else wants to in the episode. And in a way, he's just like, well, whatever. I've got nothing else to do. I don't see any reason to say no. I guess I'm here. And so Pomni asks him to come. He's like, sure, whatever, I guess. And he's not buying any of it. He like even when they're in the Chinese room and Abel is telling him everything, Jax is just like, you know what's gonna happen when we do all this? Kane's gonna pop out and say, congratulations on beating the escape the circus adventure, and everything's gonna go back to the way it always was. And Mr. Obvious Twist villain, he knows that none of it's quite what it seems, but he still goes along with it because what if, right? You never know. What if? There's nothing else they can do. And then obviously at the end it starts getting to him. He gets a little freaked out. Pushes the stay button because he doesn't want to, because he has that fear of like what's waiting for him. What is there? He has that conversation with Zubul. It's like, you got someone waiting for you outside, don't you? Yeah. And then you see just the pan of the camera where like there's like a cutoff where you only see the left side of the screen with Jax, like he's isolated and alone. And it's like, what does that mean? What is this implying?
I am curious, and not even like a spoiler for a future episode, but has there ever been like something you've noticed that you haven't seen other people point out as like a thing between episodes? Like a little detail or something like that connects to another episode. Not like for an episode that isn't out yet, but like
nothing that I can think of, and anything I can think of would be for an episode that isn't out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it would probably be for an episode that isn't out yet.
Nothing I can think of, no. Maybe later in the future when the show is over, I might be able to say something if no one's figured certain things out.
Here's my 40-minute breakdown of all the things you missed on Amazing Digital Circus episode 8.
In the Amazing Digital Circus. Yeah. And then doing that entire sequence where obviously Kane does pop out and he does say congratulations on beating the Escape the Circus adventure. And Jax just has that moment of realization where he's like, I called this. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. And yet I still fell for it. I still got gaslit. I still became emotionally vulnerable and allowed myself a moment of weakness in front of everyone. I still let this happen, even though I knew better. What the fuck? And then goes into his laughter where he's like manically laughing, which when I was really excited to record that.
I was wondering, was that a shit ton of takes, or how many takes did that take?
It was one take.
Really?
It was one consecutive take where I was just like, okay, Goose, I'm going to laugh for like 3 minutes straight.
Okay.
And you can splice my laugh however you want. And so I just was in the booth just doing a bunch of laughter, and obviously it just got spliced however we wanted. Again, I just tried to go like for a range. I started with the explosive like you know, just kind of letting it sound phlegmy, letting it sound disgusting.
There were a couple good like little Joker bits in there with that laugh a little bit.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I love getting to just kind of explode and do wacky shit like that when I have the chance. And so with my favorite part of that laugh from Jax is when I incorporate a little bit of like the laugh I do sometimes when when something is really funny. I do genuinely laugh like I can't recreate it right now.
Not like fucking Banjo-Kazooie like that kind of laugh.
Like I don't know how to. I can't recreate it now, because in that moment I genuinely like was laughing for 3 minutes straight and got some genuine laughs out of that. You can really hear it when he starts picking himself up. It's like thing that he does. That's like a laugh I actually do when something is really funny to me. But yeah, there's some crazy shit, and that's still not the peak of my acting as Jax.
And I can't tell you anything.
Yes. There's more to come, and it's very fun.
It's like I was almost thinking like, God, if we did this like literally like the week before or something like that.
Right?
I mean, we're doing it almost I forget, when is it? It's March
20th.
March 20th. I thought for some reason I was going to say like March 15th.
No, March 20th. So we've got about a month and a week.
I was wanting to ask, because I don't know. I've seen a lot of people say this, and I assume I've seen so many people say like, "Oh, this has to be intentional." And I'm not as a spoiler, but like I remember there were a bunch of people were saying like, "Oh, that's the same day as National Frog Day. That has to be intentional."
No,
I had a feeling. I was gonna say
it just happened to line up.
Yeah,
it just happened to line up.
I saw a lot of people say like, "Oh, it's obviously like I assume it's gonna be."
That's the thing.
The ribbit.
I didn't even know National Frog Day was a thing.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like most people probably fucking didn't, but
completely
like,
unintentional.
Yeah, because like I assume everyone's assuming that the next episode is probably going to be the one where we actually learn about ribbit.
Here's something that I think is really funny. Obviously, Ribbit now has a voice actor.
Yeah.
It's really funny that Ribbit has a voice actor for audio
that you
was
can
not even very audible.
You can barely make it out.
And you never know if there's going to be anything more of Ribbit, and that's something that you'll have to find out in the future. As far as everything is right now, Ribbit's just in that little snow globe adventure thing, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, because I remember there were people. Well, because I remember when I watched it, I looked at the credits, I was like, wait, like, and I had to like go back through bits because I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember hearing it, and I thought maybe it was like during the like abstract hallucination. I was like, was there like whispering that I didn't hear or something? Like, I thought maybe there was like a voice line in there that I didn't hear. And then
I
somebody...
absolutely love that in that little snippet where you can hear the muffled voices. I can't even hear Ribbit's voice. I just hear mine.
Because I know that there have been people who've actually like adjusted the audio so you can actually make out the voices. Like,
They don't even have the transcript right. I watch those.
Oh, yeah.
I know what I'm saying, and it's not what they got.
Yeah, I've seen like 4 different people give like transcripts like for that scene. And
Dude.
I think they've also said that they hear a third voice in there. So like people are also assuming Kaufmo's in that scene. Like,
But Kaufmo's not credited.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, well, if Kaufmo's not credited, it'd be kind of weird if they would credit one actor and not the other. Like,
Yeah. Another thing is, I don't know the validity of this, but if I remember correctly, somebody found out that in one of the alternate language dubs, they redubbed the scene in the little snow adventure thing.
really?
And yep, apparently one of the dubs redubbed it and did their own thing, and you can make out what is being said to like even better. And that's not what I said.
Is
That's
it like not even close to what you said?
Not even close. Not even close. They got it wrong, dude. They fucked up. They fucked up. That's a continuity error fuck up, actually.
Really?
No.
Oh,
not really.
okay. I thought you were about to say like, oh no, they actually fucked up a detail in that line. I was like, oh fuck.
Well, the thing is, if I remember correctly, the way that it is it's like, oh, you shouldn't have said that in front of Kaufmo or something like that. I think that's what they said in that dub is what I heard was like, you shouldn't have said that in front of Kaufmo. And it's like, is that something that ever came up? Like, do you know that that's something that comes up? Because they don't know. We don't know.
Well, yeah, because I think like the consistent transcript I saw a lot of people say was like Ribbit saying, "You're my friend," or like something, "You're my friend," and then Jax says something like, "I'm not," or something. That's the thing I've heard everyone consistently say it is like, oh, he's saying I'm not.
I don't know if that's what I'm saying there at that point. I know what you're talking about. It's like when Pomni comes up, is like, "You good? And you doing okay?" And then you hear like the voice.
You hear like
sounds like it's saying like,
one
"I'm
little...
not."
Yeah,
then,
that's what a lot of people.
great.
I think I've seen like several people say it sounds like Jax is saying I'm not, but like the transcript for Ribbit, I've seen like 5 different things as to like what they're saying.
I don't know if that's what I'm saying there. I actually don't know what that voice clip is, because I have no idea.
I guess to wrap this up, because we're going on almost exactly 3 hours exactly. Yay!
Wahoo!
And that's still shorter than the longest episode.
Well, keep in mind, we're cutting out like a little smidge of stuff, so we're probably just short of 3 hours.
I gotta
But
say-
still 3 hours.
I gotta say, I need to see what... Let me see. Oh, wait, no! This is now the longest episode. Yay!
Hooray! Hooray!
'Cause
Hooray!
the previously longest one was 2 hours 50. So...
Oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah. So I guess to wrap this up, what advice would you give to people who are interested in getting in the industry? Even though I know I've asked you that twice now, but I always have to end it on that.
I'm gonna give you the same website I probably gave you at the end of the last one.
Yeah.
voiceactingclub.com. Very valuable website created by Kira Buckland, who a lot of you should know if you're into the voice acting sphere. It's a wonderful website with a Discord community of aspiring and professional actors that are more than happy to be supportive and give you advice along the way. And if you scroll down a little bit, there's a helpful section with guides and articles that give you a lot of useful, helpful advice. There are other websites too, like iwannnabeavoiceactor.com, Yuri Lowenthal's voiceover voice actor book, plenty of things, but Voice Acting Club is the one that I tend to give people because if you're following me for voice acting stuff, I assume you want to do the same stuff I'm doing, which is internet, independent projects, video games and animation. And for that stuff, you don't really need an agent or to live in Los Angeles. That stuff can be done from the comfort of a closet at home. And so with that in mind, I recommend a site like Voice Acting Club to get some input and insight on that.
I
But if
also
you do see,
I also know
if
they
you
have a
interest
Discord
in going
server.
pro, they do, yes. And that Discord server is very, very helpful, whether you're trying to do indie stuff or even go pro in the future, because those things can go hand in hand. You can work indie and also simultaneously go pro. I mean, there are plenty of professionals that work on indie stuff. And especially now that we've got Dana Terrace working on Knights of Guinevere, and that's indie. It's like we're bridging the gap a little bit where industry and indie kind of have some correlation to some degree, but it's also just because the industry itself is collapsing and sucks. And so like the indie animation sphere is kind of saving the animation industry right now, which is nuts.
Oh, yeah, I know Matt Braley, the creator of Amphibia, like just announced he's now doing like an indie project, like a dark.
After Sony abandoned their
Yeah,
show,
after Sony
their movie.
abandoned that fucking movie, and then yesterday he was just like, "Hey, here's all this shit from the movie we were working on." I was like, "Fuck, that looked like that would have been such a cool movie, dude."
Yeah, it is what it is.
It was like, I just thought it was crazy because I was like, after K-pop Demon Hunters, you would have thought they would have probably been more open to like a weird out there like film idea, like especially with how well K-pop Demon Hunters did. No,
Dude, I've heard so many things from friends that do animation, that like they do something that does somewhat well, and then they talk to studios, and it's so obvious that the people working at these studios, at these companies, don't have any artistic integrity.
oh no. When I spoke to Monica Ray, and they're a storyboard artist and voice director, and they were telling me about how we were talking about K-pop, and they said like, oh no, from what people I know, like from people I've spoken to, no, Sony had no faith in that movie at all. They thought it was fucking stupid, and the only reason they did it was because they needed a movie like to get put out like this year. That's like
And look at that. Now it's so successful, and Sony's probably going to make a bunch of movies like that now to try and capitalize on it.
I call it the Shrek. I call it the Shrek factor, where the studio was originally doing different shit and was experimenting, and then one movie did really fucking well, and then they decided, we're just going to make every movie like that one now. Like,
And then it gets stale.
Yep.
And then they have to move on to something else.
Yep.
That's just how it is.
And like, I'm not even saying I dislike Shrek, but I kind of dislike what Shrek did to the animation film industry.
What Shrek became to the animation industry. Because again, Shrek did a lot of things where it popularized casting celebrity. Well,
celebrity
that's not even the only
casting.
thing.
Celebrity casting was a thing. I'd say that was more Katzenberg's fault instead of Shrek's fault. But
Katzenberg did that with Disney. Yeah.
Shrek is definitely the thing that made it more mainstream.
The thing that's a shame to me too, is the fact that I know Robin Williams did not want to contribute to what Aladdin did.
Oh, he purposefully told them, do not make my character like the major focus of the marketing. They told him they wouldn't, and then they did.
Yep, exactly. And then that did what it obviously did to the animation industry and film industry and made it, oh, you've got a big name celebrity in the main cast, and that's why it's doing well. Let's cast big name celebrities in animated movies from now on.
Fun fact about myself, when I was in college, I was in a debate class or a public speaking class, and our final project was you have to come up with you have to make a presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation, and you have to basically try and convince us about something. Like, you need to change my mind on something, basically. And I did a PowerPoint presentation on why celebrity casting does not impact box office. And I found out it was like, I think I took 10 animated films from the last 10 years, and I took 20 animated films, and 10 of which did not have a lot of celebrities, and 10 of which did. And I said, like, hey, yeah, so a lot of these ones that had celebrities bombed. They either bombed or they only did okay at the box office. Meanwhile, movies that had character actors and voice actors did significantly better than some of these movies. It's almost like celebrity casting doesn't do shit with animated films.
I had to go see Jeremy Renner in Arctic Dogs, dude. That was the sole reason I went to go see that movie. I got to see my boy Jeremy Renner,
Well, it's like fucking
creator of my favorite app, the Jeremy Renner app.
God, I forgot about that shit. Oh God. What was I think? There was like Boss Baby. Yeah, I'm gonna go see Boss Baby for fucking Alec Baldwin as a baby.
Who's also in Arctic Dogs.
Oh my God! Fucking.
He voices the polar bear in that.
Did you see Arctic Dogs?
No. It sucks. I've seen the trailer. That's it.
I just remember the fucking cold brew meme. That's like the only thing I remember about that movie.
Here, I don't know if you've noticed that, like, right now, as far as like the film industry goes with animation, I don't know if it's Sony or like just every studio, but right now, obviously, because Zootopia was so popular and furry stuff is so popular, now they're making like Hoops and Goat.
I'm excited for Goat.
There?
Goat looks like a lot of fun.
Goat looks like it could be good. That one actually looks promising.
It is getting good.
Something...
It is getting good reviews so far, early reviews. So
that's good. But that's something I'm noticing is that like now a lot of studios are following that like talking animals movie trend.
Oh well, that's always when Finding Nemo came out. That was the same thing. Finding Nemo made a fuck ton of money, and Shark Tale happened, and then Madagascar happened, and like just a bunch of fucking talking animal movies happened after that one. Like,
yep.
The Wild.
Yep. Exactly.
Chicken Little, like all that shit. All that happened right after Finding Nemo. Like that 4 or 5 year period where it was just a bunch of talking animal movies.
Oh, dude, James Franco was in Arctic Dogs.
That's like the one thing I remember about Arctic Dogs. I never even saw it. I just remember it was like a bunch of people who either ended up getting canceled or it was just a bunch of weird people to be associated with this movie. Like,
yeah. Very weird.
Like fucking, do you remember Delgo? You remember that shit?
Which one?
Delgo. It came out in like 2008. It's like one of the biggest bombs in like movie history. It was like that. It was like green people.
Oh yes, Delgo.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
That movie had like a 5 or 6 year development cycle, and like 4 of the actors died before it even came out. Like.
Oh my God.
And then it went on to be like one of the biggest bombs in film history. I think it wasn't even out in theaters for more than like 2 weeks in some states.
Dude, I can't even remember the name of this fucking movie. I Googled it and there's the fucking name of the movie. It took a while. Smallfoot.
Oh God. I remember Smallfoot has at least the only reason Smallfoot has some memorability to me is the fucking Zendaya is Michi video.
That's what I Googled. I Googled Zendaya is Michi. And I scrolled down until I found something that actually said what the name of the movie was, which was like at the bottom of the page.
I remember I saw it when it came out on like DVD and streaming. It's fine. It's totally fine. It is one of those movies though where it is a surprise musical jump scare movies. Where they don't fucking tell you it's a musical in the advertising at all.
Dude, I've never seen any of the Trolls movies, but I've heard they're pretty fun.
First one's okay. Second one's better. I have not seen the third one.
I think I've heard that it's like a case where each movie gets better and better. So I think I heard the third one's really good.
I saw bits and pieces of the third one, but I've never actually sat down and watched it.
They never seemed like anything I'd want to watch. But
no, well, I saw the first one in theaters just because I was like kind of interested. And it was okay. And then I saw the second one, and the second one was a lot better than the first one.
Mm-hmm. I have not been keeping up with my movies. I did see Iron Lung in theaters though, just because I had to go see the Markiplier movie.
The Markiplier.
I had to go see the Markiplier movie.
How do you wrap up the podcast with the Markiplier voice?
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Medwards VA. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye!